She got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now I can wear the shoes that I've picked out because I like the way they look, not because they were comfortable.
Good Feet relieved her pain and her fashion dilemma. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
And it's swung on line to left center, base hit, and the A's have won it on a walk-off line drive, base hit to left center.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Today at 3 p.m., NBA teams are allowed to officially start negotiating with free agents, but the Kings are already rumored to have made some moves before that. Yesterday, news broke that Harrison Barnes will be returning with the Kings on a 3-year, $54 million contract. Today, the Athletic's Shams Charania is reporting that the Kings are nearing a trade to get guard Chris Duarte for trade compensation. For more on today's NBA free agency news, make sure to stay locked in on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com. Those are your headlines. Now let's get to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Two questions for you, Chris Watkins. Thanks for being with us today on the start of NBA free agency, about 3 o'clock today. Kevin Michael, Whitey, Gleason, Chris Watkins. How'd you do in softball last night? And why is everyone so mad about the Harrison Barnes deal?
This is an interesting story. My game got canceled because of just somebody passed out on the other field. I mean, it was the hottest day of the year, and got to make sure you get your hydration in. And someone passed out on the other field, and it was actually kind of a scary situation for a minute.
Wow.
But so the softball game got canceled after 2 innings.
Is the person okay? Do we know?
No idea. To be honest, it did not look great. So
nice.
It was a scary situation. So friendly reminder to that if anybody's it's going to be hot as all get out this weekend. So if you're planning on being outside, doing any sort of activities, just be sure to hydrate. That's step number one. So take care of yourself as this heat is no joke this weekend.
All of our coaches used to say, once you get thirsty, it's too late.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, that's what
my coaches used to say, don't drink water. It'll make you weak.
My coach was very progressive in the water drinking.
Yeah.
That's great. I think all coaches should be, because it's like, I just never understood it. It's like, why? Like, I literally need water to survive here, and holding it away from me is not any sort of motivator.
Once you get thirsty, too bad is the way a lot of coaches
it is. Yeah. It's like, Coach, can I have some water? I'm dying. No, you'll get water in 15 minutes. Or you're like, no, you don't need water. No, I think I need water. And the Harrison Barnes thing.
Everyone is so angry.
To move on to the Harrison Barnes thing, everyone is so angry. I don't understand it. I mean, I don't know if people were just had already moved off of Harrison Barnes mentally. I don't know if they convinced themselves that for some reason Harrison Barnes was going to take some massive team-friendly discount. But, I mean, the first thing when I saw the number, it's a very fair number. It's clearly a very negotiated number. To me, I think the Kings wanted to bring back Harrison at $15, maybe $16 million. I think that at that point is a bargain, and you can justify bringing him off the bench potentially. And I think Harrison probably was like, well, something tells me Kyle Kuzma and Jeremy Grant are going to get upwards of 20, so I want at least 20. And 18 is a nice little happy medium between the two, where Harrison probably doesn't feel the best about it. The Kings probably don't feel best about it. Probably means that it's the perfect number. And so, it's not, while yes, I would like the Kings to operate on bargain deals and are getting maximum value out of everybody, sometimes you got to pay people what they're worth. And I think when we see the numbers that Kyle Kuzma is going to get and the numbers Jeremy Grant's going to get, I think we're going to look at Harrison Barnes' number and be like, I'll take that. Like, I'll take Harrison Barnes at $6 million less per year to get what I know and maybe not ruin everything. Like, I think that there was potential if you bring in Kyle Kuzma, he doesn't do what Harrison Barnes does. And if you can just sign up to get what Harrison Barnes does, and this isn't the last move either. There's more to come. So I just also think that now is not the time to have any sort of too high or too low reaction.
I agree with you, but we both know that next move, whatever it is, it's not going to be major.
Yes.
And I think a lot of fans looked at last season, said, okay, this is a prove-it year for Harrison Barnes. And he had another very, very solid year that was probably better than you first recognize at first blush, which is the type of thing Monty McNair loves. See Chris Duarte, who we'll get to.
Right.
But then it came to the playoff series, and all right, Harrison Barnes has a lot to prove in this playoff series. He's got a grudge against this team. He's the only one on the team, or one of the few guys on the team with playoff experience, and he didn't play well. So I think for a lot of fans, they looked at it and said, clearly, for the Kings to get better, that's the spot where you got to upgrade. I'm not saying it's right, but I think that's why so many people are upset, right? So many people. And what do we remember as fans? Why did the 49ers lose the Super Bowl? Because Jimmy Garoppolo overthrew. Right. Why did the Kings lose the worst? Because Harrison Barnes missed that shot. Right? Yes. So I'm guessing, again, I think we're in lockstep on this, but why were so many people so upset? I think they looked at that and said, no, that was the problem. Yeah. And here you had a chance to move off of that and you're not. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I think, and people were trying to remove that from the team completely. And I think instead of that, my answer has been, well, let's just give ourselves a different option to go to. I don't necessarily think that the problem was Harrison Barnes was out there and he was killing us. It's just, again, like, and I've said it, I feel like all week now, it's just you have to give yourself the positional versatility. Like the Warriors were able to go from Jonathan Kuminga playing and starting to not playing Kuminga at all because they had other pieces that they can flip in and flip out and give teams different looks, and the Kings weren't able to provide that. So I don't think it's necessarily a problem of Harrison Barnes was out on the floor and that was the problem. I think it was the Kings had nowhere else to go but Harrison Barnes. And so I don't have a problem with him coming back. I have a problem if they don't bring in additional pieces that could possibly be rotation or replacements for him as well. Like Sasha's a good step. That's somebody who, if Harrison doesn't have it on a given night, you could throw Sasha in a closing lineup. I still think they need somebody else to add that equation, and I'm assuming Trey Lyles is going to come back as well. I just think that they need more options at that position instead of just throwing a ton of money at one guy and being like, Kyle Kuzma be head and shoulders above Harrison Barnes, what he gave us last year.
Yeah, you and I never really went too far down that Kyle Kuzma road.
No. Or Jeremy Grant, really.
Right. Yeah. We didn't see it as a great fit, and there was really no reason to assume the Kings were in on him. There's also the other side of it, which is we don't know whether Kyle Kuzma had any desire to come here either.
I don't think he would. I think if Kuzma would have had interest, I think they would have explored it, and nothing that we have heard has said or suggested that the Kings have even talked with Kyle Kuzma's camp. As a matter of fact, all I've seen are reports to the contrary, that they haven't reached out to Kuzma even once in this entire process. So I think it is just a matter of fans got a little bit ahead of themselves and built out their perfect 2K teams. And it ended up just being a lot less sexy than what I think a lot of people wanted. But I think the reality of the situation is this team was really, really good. They were talent-wise good enough to be a second-round team. They just need to add a couple pieces around the edge. Like when you look at what the Kings did last year, the players that were playing were all worthy of playing. They just needed to add one or two guys to supplement the back end of the rotation, guys to figure out the Chimezie Metu minutes, to figure out the random Terrence Davis minutes. And I think they've done a really good job of, to this point, kind of adding Chris Duarte and Sasha Vezenkov. And I think the 2 draft picks have potential to maybe get some time as well at points this year. To me, I think the Kings are on a very steady path to improving incrementally. And I know that's not what people want. They want this big, massive leap to title contention next year. But frankly, I just don't think that move was out there unless you were going to go for an OG Anunoby or someone like that. And even then, you would probably have to give up pieces that would take away from your chances.
Interesting thoughts here on the YouTube chat. Thanks for being with us on YouTube. Today. Star HD says HB always disappears every season.
No, that's not wrong. That is not wrong.
Steve A says the Kings are already a much better team than many are giving them credit for. They head into next season with starters playing more minutes together than any other team. Chemistry and youth matters.
That's also very true.
And we also have from Evan Benz, Robert Horry said he gets paid a lot of money to make one shot every year. And the minute he doesn't make that one shot, he's not getting paid anymore.
Interesting.
Okay, but that's not what Harrison Barnes is here to do.
No.
Would have been great if he made the shot. Would have been tremendous.
No, and that you're right. That's not what Harrison Barnes is here to do.
He's not Big Shot Barnes.
No, he's not. He's definitely, there's nobody who has ever considered him or called him Big Shot Barnes. That's not what he's here to do. He's here to be a steadying presence, a steady locker room presence. And I think, frankly, I really think the team would have missed his locker room presence had he had left. I think the Kings couldn't have just let go of Harrison Barnes and brought in Kyle Kuzma and had everything work the same because of how important Harrison is to the locker room. And I know some people might roll their eyes at that a little bit, but truly, like, Harrison is a great connector. He's somebody that everybody can go to, listen to, and just take advice from. But he's also somebody who, when he says something, it speaks volume. He might not always be the most vocal leader, but when Harrison Barnes says something in that locker room, every single person listens because he has that level of respect. And if they would have lost Harrison Barnes for nothing, it would have really been on Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox to be a lot more vocal. And frankly, I just don't know if they're at that point yet.
You know what we're talking about, Chris? We're talking about, it's overused, but we're talking about culture.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
100%.
And Harrison Barnes is a big part of the fabric of the Kings culture.
100%. And the Kings culture was arguably like one of the best in the league last year. It felt like all of those guys legitimately loved each other, loved playing for each other, loved playing for Mike Brown. And I think that's a big reason why, you've mentioned it before, like, Keegan Murray played through injury because he saw Domantas Sabonis playing through injury. And Harrison Barnes sets the standard of, I played 82 games. You guys know my ankle's busted, whatever, my shoulder hurts, all that stuff. I'm going to play 82 games. And to me, Harrison, you're right. Like, he's as big of a culture piece, or is as important to the culture as he is to the on the floor product. And I think you're also right in your initial statement of saying, like, I think that there is a good percentage, myself included, I'll absolutely put myself in this group, that really look down on how good or how steady Harrison Barnes really is. Like, I think there's points where, as the commenter mentions, Harrison Barnes disappears, but there's also a ton of moments where he doesn't disappear. And when he shows up incredibly timely, or he'll have an occasional 20 or 30 point game. And, me and Frankie have always said it, when Harrison Barnes plays well in a game, more times than not, it means that the Kings also play well. So I just think he's really, really just an important piece to what they have going. And he's like a fifth option on this team. I don't think that you're going to get a more steady, a more comfortable fifth option than Harrison Barnes is right now in his career.
I think two things are true. One, Harrison Barnes is a very solid player who's a great fit here, and the Kings are happy they still have him.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's also true is they still have to improve.
Yes.
A lot of people were hoping they'd improve there. They didn't. They kept Harrison Barnes. Okay, you still have to improve somewhere. Does Chris Duarte move the needle at all in that direction? We'll address that when we come right back on Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
The King season might be over, but Sactown sports coverage never stops.
Expectations coming into the season and how we performed. I mean, it's one of the more special seasons that I've had in my 11 years.
Stay tuned all off season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. Well, Major League Baseball has announced the rosters for this year's Futures game, July 8th up in Seattle. The A's will have Tyler Soderstrom, the number one pick back in 2020 out of Turlock, 16 homers and 51 RBIs this year in AAA. And the outfielder Lawrence Butler, who had a great spring this year, and he's batting .284 with an .810 OPS in AA. Ken Korak here, introducing you to the Xfinity 10G network. Xfinity is undergoing a multi-year network evolution, giving you a powerful connection today while building toward a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The Xfinity 10G network gives you the fastest internet with even faster speeds rolling out all the time. You also get a consistent and reliable connection when everyone's online, even during peak hours. That's a home run. If you want to learn more, go online at xfinity.com/10G.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason, Chris Watkins, Chris Verlaud, and we're talking today about Chris Duarte. We just mentioned before we went to break, Harrison Barnes still around. That's terrific, but you've still got to improve this offseason. And so we just find out that the Kings have swung a deal with the Indiana Pacers. What is it, draft considerations for Chris Duarte?
Yes. I assume second-round picks.
Pacers.
I hope second-round picks, I should say.
What does that do for you? What does that do for the Kings?
It's solid. Like Chris Duarte.
All you Chris's stick together.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Haven't found a Chris I didn't like.
That tracks. I don't think I have either, actually. I don't think I've ever.
What about the guy from Chris Martin from
Coldplay?
Yeah,
great guy.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know him, but he's friends with Jay-Z and Beyonce, so it can't be that bad of a guy, right?
Yeah, he did a great job in that Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah,
with Beyonce
my goodness.
Yeah, he wasn't in it.
Yeah, that was not great. I was not.
All right, he seems like a decent guy. Whatever.
But anyways, Chris Duarte.
Coldplay fan.
I think Chris Duarte, I mean, you look at his numbers his rookie year, 13 points per game, shot 36% from three. He's, that's the guy that the Kings are hoping that they get. Last year really, really struggled. And from all of the mild information I was able to gather this morning, reading up on Duarte, it seems like, honestly, a lot of Pacers people attribute his slide in his sophomore season or his second year in the league to the fact that Domantas Sabonis wasn't playing with him and wasn't setting him up the same.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I guess they had a little bit similar of a two-man game to what Kevin Huerter and Sabonis had last year. So that's very intriguing to me. The fact that Duarte was significantly 4 points per game better in his rookie year than his second year in the league.
Plus he got hurt last year.
Plus he did get hurt, and he also was hurt his rookie season as well. Hasn't played over 60 games so far in his NBA career. So that's
you and Chris would love him because he's Canadian, and I know you love your Canadian Kings, right?
Yeah, Trey Lyles, absolutely.
He's wearing Chris Verlaud.
He
literally
is wearing a Canada shirt.
Canada Day tomorrow.
Is it really?
It is.
Oh, okay. What does that entail?
It's like their
you're
Independence
supposed to
Day.
get
Is it
a
like
moose
their
and walk
fourth-
around the block.
Yeah.
And that's
Some
how
Tim
you
Hortons or something and say thank you and please.
Canada's wonderful.
I've never been. I hear it's a wonderful place. And yeah, I hear Chris Duarte could be a wonderful fit for this team as well. Like I think, immediately I see him as, like a Terrence Davis replacement. I kind of thought Colby Jones was going to be that, but it's a lot more likely that they're going to give it to a guy like Duarte who is proven. I think he's probably going to play a majority of a backup three, probably. I don't think he'll be stealing any of Malik Monk or Kevin Huerter minutes. He played actually.
He can't play two. He can't play the two.
He can't play the two. He's 6'6", so he's a bigger guy, can play either position. Defensively, he has some upside, but he hasn't really shown much. Average a steal a game his rookie year, is really good off ball as a defender, not so much point of attack or obviously not a rim protector either. But I think he's a really solid piece and somebody that I think the Kings can really use next season pretty much however they want. He's going to be hopefully a knockdown shooter for them. Hopefully he can raise that 3-point percentage back up to the 36 and above range. And I think he's just a really solid piece that is going to be an added depth to this team. I don't know if he's going to be in the rotation day one. I would kind of assume so, but I think he's going to be just a guy who comes in, can hopefully knock down some threes, and is somebody that you can just put out there for 10, 15, 20 minutes and not kill like he won't kill your team.
As you mentioned before the show started when we were chatting, he definitely fits Monty's type.
Yes.
Chris Duarte played in college, a number of years in college.
Yeah.
He wasn't a one and done guy.
Nope.
He was also very efficient in college.
Mhm.
Those are the guys that's why I'm still not sure Monty was ever over the moon with his current edition of Kyle Kuzma.
Right.
I don't know. But Chris Duarte was very efficient in college. To his defense, one of the first things I look at
especially with this team.
Is offensive rating, defensive rating. And that's really a team thing. It's not an individual thing, but it gives you some idea. It's not pretty for Chris Duarte, but that's okay. Offensive rating is rookie year, Indiana. When he was on the floor, their offensive rating was 104 points per 100 possessions. Defensively, they gave up 117.
That's not great.
That's not great.
Not great.
But again, that's not all on him. He's on the floor with four other people.
Right.
Last year, offensive rating 101, defensive rating 120.
Okay,
So,
also
yeah.
not great. Gotcha.
So that's,
Noted.
okay. Well, all right. But I think
those are also on very bad Indiana teams.
Right. This is a guy that I know the Warriors were really interested in taking him instead of Moses Moody, but Duarte was picked right before that.
Mm-hmm.
So he was seen as a guy when he came out of Oregon. He was seen as one of those, lower ceiling, higher floor guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he has a chance to be kind of a sneakily good acquisition.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and he's still young in his career. This is only his third season in the NBA. He's got room to grow. I think he's going to have like I said, a decent opportunity to get some minutes here day one. Has a familiar face in Domantas Sabonis. Also, I saw this really good tidbit that Duarte's first language is Spanish, and as I don't know if you know or not, but Domantas Sabonis speaks like 12 different, I think it's like 6 different languages or something like that. And Duarte really attributed the fact that Sabonis would speak to him in Spanish on the floor, and that was a really big help to him in terms of just knowing where to be. And obviously not many NBA players speak Spanish, and so if you say I should probably know Spanish better with my mom being fluent, but
yeah,
however you say cut, very simple word, cut. Yeah. You would tell him to cut or say, hey, come around me or something. I don't know. Like you could just talk to him, communicate it with him without the other team knowing. And he really attributed that to a really big piece of him, A, feeling comfortable, but B, just, being able to navigate himself on the floor. So I really am excited for to see what him and Domas can do together playing out there on the floor.
You don't speak Spanish much at all?
Not a lick.
Not a lick?
It is like one of my biggest regrets in life. I feel really terrible, but yeah, my mom's fluent in Spanish and
our family really failed me and Chris.
Yeah. I don't like to put the blame on my family.
Yeah, that was all you. I'm blaming my family.
I blame myself, but it's
going to public school in California. We learned Spanish here and there.
Oh, they tried to teach us.
It was the only thing I can remember is "Qué lástima, lo siento, ojalá que se mejore pronto." Do you know what that means?
No.
That means, I'm sorry, that's too bad. I hope you are feeling better soon. And I don't know what that's like.
Is that why you've been saying that to me all week?
Yes. Qué lástima, lo siento, ojalá que se mejore pronto.
It sounds great.
Oh, you speak Spanish? Like
you sound like you're like on the ride from Matterhorn or something like that. Like right before, how they do the English and then the Spanish. You say that like so perfectly.
But that's about it. It's like why I remember that. I don't know.
The conjugations is where I just got lost. I couldn't do. No. Spanish.
That's interesting.
Spanish is a completely different language to me.
I didn't
really
know.
It's really amazing.
The whole Duarte Sabonis connection.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was as solid.
It's really strong. It seems like it's really, really strong. And so, we saw last year how important that two-man game can be. I mean, Domas and Herder both spoke about how that's something they worked on day one, and they really wanted to get that developed. So the fact that Sabonis can now have 3 guys, maybe even 4 guys really working on him. I mean, we saw how Keegan Murray and Sabonis worked together in the two-man game. Obviously, Herder and Sabonis. Now we bring back Harrison Barnes, and Domas can maybe get more of a two-man game going, and Chris Duarte as well. It just feels like the Kings are really leaning into this offensive end of things, which it's interesting. Again, Brendan Nunez is always pointing out to me that, sometimes instead of focusing on weaknesses, maybe you do need to lean into your strengths and just really just emphasize who you are as a team and make that so great that it really, just doesn't make your deficiencies so prevalent. And I think that's kind of what this is just them leaning more into playing off of Sabonis and also obviously the added shooting as well. I just think it's a really good fit, and it's incredibly low risk from what I've gathered. It seems like it's only going to be second round picks or 1 second round pick.
I agree. But I think you'd agree the Kings probably still need to do more.
Yes, but they still have money. And that's the glorious thing, is I think they still have $13.5 million. There's still some question on how exactly much they have and how they can operate, as Keith Smith was on with us yesterday and tried to explain everything.
Or they could use the mid-level.
Right? They have the room exception to bring in Sasha, I believe. And
we're going to break that down today, actually, or we're going to try just a little bit.
Okay.
Because it's getting thrown around so much.
It's getting thrown around a lot.
A little bit of light on
that. So, I mean, they still have room to make another, I won't want to say a big swing, but they can compete with, if Bruce Brown's going to get a mid-level, they can throw $13 million at him. If they want to go.
See, to me, that's a fairly big swing, even though he's not a star player.
I think so too. And we know he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. I
Coach,
promise.
There's nothing you can do.
I know, but it don't matter. Come on, man. Mike Malone. I can't take away Mike Malone's guy like that.
We run this back. We run this back.
I wonder if they go after, I still think, I don't know how many times I have to say this, a backup big is still the need. Like, they still have not addressed.
Right here, 12 Mulatu, pardon me, but on YouTube,
Please.
as you say that, we have no bids.
Thank you, 12 Mulatu.
Hey, your boy Mo Bamba, available.
No thanks.
Less
He's
Bamba.
Big. Less Bamba, please. Please, less Bamba.
But you just said you want size, and he's available.
He is available, and he does have size, but I just think that there are better options, people who don't weigh 130 pounds. And I still really like Mason Plumlee. That was the guy that Kings fans were infatuated at the deadline. I still really like what he can bring as the backup. Somebody who probably knows he's more of a backup than a starter. He can give him 15 to 20 minutes on a given night. That's all they need. They don't need, I would love if they brought in Brook Lopez, but they frankly just don't need someone to eat up that many minutes. They just need somebody who can give Sabonis some rest and not kill them, and you can still run a semblance of your offense through.
So does it boil down to this? The Kings had I don't know why I'm struggling with his name. The guy that they traded to Dallas.
Rashawn Holmes.
I apologize. Yeah. So they signed Rashawn Holmes, then they get Sabonis, and then they realize, okay, Rashawn Holmes doesn't fit this offense with Mike Brown. So then they decide, all right, we got to get out from under that salary. So they had to trade a first-round pick to get out from under Rashawn Holmes' salary.
Not great.
Right? That's what it boils down to, right?
No, that's terrible. Yes, that definitely got swept under the rug.
Remember his name?
Yes,
it's painful.
It is very painful. No, I think that definitely got swept under the rug. The fact that the Kings had to ship off a first-round pick in order to get rid of that Rashawn Holmes salary, that's not good. That is not a good thing. But that's it won't kill them. But when we look back at that, that's not ideal.
Yeah, but that's why a national writer plays the Kings card on the Harrison Barnes deal. More on that coming up next on Chris and Company, Watkins and Whitey, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
What's going on? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. 4th of July sales event is finally here. Chad, tell me what's going on at Hoblet.
Well, for a very short time, we're offering the biggest savings so far in 2023 with up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Laramie, Longhorn, and limited crew cabs. That means you can get one of the most luxurious and popular trucks on the road, starting at only $49,995. Plus, Hoblet is California's #1 Ram truck dealer, so you can take advantage of our huge selection with over 500 trucks available, including those hard-to-find heavy-duty trucks.
Okay, but what makes Hoblet better than the dealer down the street?
We have no surprise fees, add-ons, or dealer markups, just savings. One of the many reasons we received the Walter P. Chrysler Award for outstanding customer service for 3 years in a row now. Plus, with Hoblet's Peace of Mind guarantee, you can buy with confidence.
Stop by their Hoblet Ram Truck Center for a test drive today, or search, select, and save through the whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period.
12,000 total net savings after 8,000 factory rebates and 4,000 dealer discount. 10th net savings. Sample VIN 549186. Must be California resident. Qualify. See dealer for details.
At Ashton and Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
The PGA club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at Uma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
If your Medi-Cal is ending, Cover California is here to help. Cover California is a service from the state that helps you get affordable health insurance. In many cases, at no cost to you, just like with Medi-Cal. We have quality health plans, and we'll help you every step of the way to get the one that works for you and your family. So, if you're no longer eligible for Medi-Cal, check out Cover California. We'll keep you covered. Learn more at coveredca.com.
Hey, movie fans, the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento is now serving adult beverages. Playing this week, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the IMAX experience.
I've been looking for this all my life. Give them hell, Indiana Jones!
See Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny on the largest screen in Sacramento. Getting tickets is easy. Visit IMAX.com/Sacramento for showtimes and reserved seating. Plus, join the free IMAX Directors Club for special member pricing on tickets and concession items each time you visit the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Sactown Sports
Headlines. I'm Chris Verlod with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Today at 3 p.m., NBA teams are allowed to officially start to negotiate with free agents, but the Kings are already rumored to have made some moves before that. Yesterday, news broke that Harrison Barnes will be returning with the Kings on a 3-year, $54 million contract. And today, the Athletic's Shams Charania is reporting that the Kings are nearing a trade to get guard Chris Duarte for draft compensation. For more on today's NBA free agency news, make sure to stay locked in on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Yeah, we've had some news last couple of days. Not what a lot of Kings fans wanted. All gas, no brakes on the YouTube chat says, I swear us Kings fans are ungrateful kids. We've been sucking forever now. You want to complain about the HB contract? SMH, go be a Blazers fan or something.
My goodness. Absolutely. I mean, like, the way that people are complaining right now, it's like, let's just be again, like, the Kings were bad for 16 straight seasons.
Yes, but
had one good season of success.
I'll play the other side.
And
Cap
people
room.
are ready.
They're not going to have cap room. And they could have gotten a star player, a great player. And
You can always
back
do
Harrison Barnes. Oh,
There's always time, people. There is always time. And I know no one wants to hear that. It doesn't have to be now. Okay, the Kings are signing people to good deals. They've got just about somebody at every single dollar figure. So if they want to make any moves at any point, they have now Harrison Barnes at $18 million. They have Herder at $16 million. They've got Monk at $9 million. They've got Sabonis currently at $20 million. They've got Fox at $35 million. They've got a lot of different, and then they have Keegan and Davion both on rookie scale deals. They've just got a lot of options to go here, and raising your floor isn't something that we should be mad at. I think the Kings have done a great job so far of making sure that they're going to sustain the level of success they had, and there will be no drop-off. And to me, that's just as important as getting better, is making sure that you're at least still as good as you were last year. And I know that's not what people want to hear. I know, tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so why not live for tonight? But the reality of the situation is, I mean, Monty McNair is trying to build something that's going to last, and he's just signed a new deal, so he feels comfortable in some sort of 3 or 4 or 5 year plan, and I think that this is just the beginning of it.
Sometimes we as fans, we just want someone else, something else, something new.
Just for the sake of it being new.
Sometimes, yeah. But where the Kings are right now, I think a lot of fans, too, look at the Kings and say, a lot of things went well. Not everything went well last year, but a lot of things went well. So, and they were the 3rd seed. But if they're going to stay ahead of the game and ahead of the other teams, hey, this is their chance to really upgrade and bring it back Harrison Barnes, but they already had him. But that doesn't mean it's not the shrewd thing to do. Depends on what else happens, of course. Now there's a consensus on the YouTube chat. Kelly Olynyk, everyone is hoping, or a lot of people are hoping.
I like Olynyk.
Sure. I mean,
I like him.
Swing a trade with the Jazz for Kelly Olynyk. A year ago, last year, it looked like maybe Utah was going to trade veterans and try to get
lean into the tank,
some future assets, but I don't know that they really need to do that anymore.
I don't think so. I mean, with where they're at now, they're headed upwards. And if anything, they're kind of trying to do what the Kings are trying to, like, just continue to build and make sure you don't, the floor doesn't fall out from beneath you. Chris, can we get a poll of how people are feeling about this Harrison Barnes deal? I'm curious if we put a poll up right now, how many people are happy
choices?
about, I don't know, are you happy
This
about
is
it?
great.
Yes,
Oh,
this is great. This is terrible. It's fine. Because for me, I'm like, it's fine. I personally am just like, it's not a bargain. They didn't overpay for Harrison Barnes, but that's probably right around what he's actually worth.
Or how about, because we can put 4, right?
We can put 4.
We put wake me up when they sign someone of significance.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
Because
it's great, fine, terrible. Wake me when they sign someone of significance. Yeah. Well, it's not just Kings fans that are unhappy. And I know there are a number of fans, a good deal of fans who are not unhappy, but the national media, I'll alert the media. Some of them coming down the Kings Road. This is from Justin Verrier from, I believe, the Ringer. Yeah. He says, solid value for a player who's added a few more wince-inducing moments to an unfortunate playoff legacy this year.
Yeah.
Talking about Barnes.
Fair.
He says, the Kings aren't done. While Barnes eats up more than half of their space, they still have some funds at their disposal, perhaps to chase a restricted free agent like Grant Williams.
Maybe.
But if they follow up this move by merely bringing back Trey Lyles and or renegotiating and extending Domantas Sabonis' deal, the warm fuzzies about the Kings revival might give way to that old queasy Kings feeling.
He used the K word, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you make of that, Chris Watkins?
I think, I will not say Kangs, because Kangs is letting go of Harrison Barnes, having no replacement for him, and not thinking it was a possibility to even lose Harrison Barnes or there's more Kangs-y things out there. But, yes, if this is the final move and they use the rest of their cap space on some fringe guy, I'll throw Torrey Craig out there, someone who I actually really like, and then use the rest of that money to re-sign Domantas Sabonis long-term. To me, I've never understood this extending Sabonis this offseason. I don't get it. I don't understand why Sabonis would offer it. He can't. That's not maximizing his own value. I think Sabonis is going to want to take, if he can get another All-NBA, if he can earn some accolades that can make him a higher paid player next offseason, I think it's in his best interest to do so. I could see how you would be really upset and I would honestly be really upset if that's what they do with the cap space. I think that they should look to bring in 1 or 2 more vets and bring in Sasha as well. And to me, that's where I'm satisfied. I need a backup big and another, whether it be a playmaker or another rotational wing. That's what I'm looking for.
Speaking of bench guys who could make an impact, I know the Kings have not been linked to this guy, but they did have him at one point. Of course, my understanding is Dante DiVincenzo may be going to the Knicks. It could be one of the reasons why Justin Hart opted in, which was
Josh
weird.
Hart, yes.
Pardon me,
No,
Josh Hart. Thank you. I'm having a day.
Yeah, I was like, I know you know Josh Hart.
Josh Hart. He opted in, which was kind of odd, but it looks like he may have done that because Villanova thing. Hey, Dante DiVincenzo, we might get him. So that could have something to do with that.
Knicks. I didn't even put that together. How about that? Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart, all Villanova guys. That's something. And that's interesting because DiVincenzo and Josh Hart are kind of one in the same a little. They kind of do really similar. They have really similar
things
games
that they do for you.
Absolutely, in terms of rebounding and just kind of making small winning plays. Both really gritty guys who could probably play a position up as well. That's interesting. I would really like Dante's fit. I still kind of am salty about the fact that the Kings didn't bring back Dante. I just think that he makes really winning plays, and I just thought he was a really solid guy, and the Kings didn't really give him a fair shake. Yeah, he's just, especially with that Golden State team, he just fits into really good team basketball. I was sad to see Dante go, but I think that Knicks fit could be incredible for him.
Mm-hmm. So as far as the Kings making that big swing, to me, and I think we touched on this, but actually Bruce Brown would be a pretty big swing, all things considered.
Sure.
But obviously that would not be the type of move that a lot of fans were hoping to see as an upgrade from Harrison Barnes at the 3.
Definitely.
But also, as we've discussed, you look at who's out there, And I think that's a bigger factor in this to this point than, well, the Kings have never been a free agent destination.
Yeah, there's just not many names out there that are going to move the needle. And I think, frankly, Bruce Brown is probably one of those guys that could move the needle. I think he's a winning guy who can play multiple positions. And I really like his fit on just about any winning situation. I just think he does whatever is needed to do for him to have a good role with the team. At this point, I would be surprised if he ends up on the Kings, but I would love it. I think I think just about everyone who has money and is a contender, like anyone who has that full mid-level and it was in the playoffs last year, I think everybody will be trying to get Bruce Brown over on their team. We've heard the Lakers have interest. Don't like to hear that.
And do you hear who he's meeting with? The Lakers are interested.
I have not.
I guess he's already announced he's going to meet with Dallas.
Dallas is another situation that feels like it would work for him as well.
Dallas is starting to scare me a little bit.
Yes, right. I mean, because Bruce Brown's the perfect, much like how I described Harrison Barnes, just a low maintenance, high efficiency, low usage guy. And you're going to need a lot of those guys to play with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, guys who don't need the ball in their hand but can still impact winning and impact offense and defense. To me, that's
some good
exactly
moves
what he
so far
does.
this offseason.
I really like it, except for, I guess they didn't get Drummond. Drummond was going to be the one thing I just didn't understand. And they've got Rashawn. They drafted Derek Lively. Obviously, took my guy Omax Prosper in the draft as well from Sacramento. Dallas is a team that I think a lot of people have forgotten about in terms of teams underneath the Kings that can make a leap over them, because Dallas had an incredibly disappointing season last year, especially the second half of the season. I'm not saying that they're going to figure it all out and they're going to be a 50-win team next year, but I mean, with the talent that they have, Luka and Kyrie, you have to be at least cognizant of the fact that they could very easily leapfrog you if they make a couple really good moves this offseason.
As far as the Kings, to me, I think the Kings last year proved, Monty McNair and his staff proved that we're done with that.
Yeah. No, every move that Monty has made has been calculated. It doesn't feel like there's any move that he hasn't really given much thought to, or, was just the talent was there, so I just had to jump on the opportunity. The Bradley Beal thing was looking like that for a second, but I think Monty has done a great job of just being incredibly calculated, and every single move seems to have purpose with Monty.
That's the big difference. That's a great point, I think. Whereas in the past, there were times when the Kings did things where
just acquired
it didn't even
talent.
seem like they knew why they were doing it.
No. Yeah, it was just
doesn't
like
mean everything Monty does is going to work,
No.
but at least he has an idea.
He has an idea
what he's trying to accomplish.
Exactly. Like the Chris Duarte thing's a perfect example where it's like he understands that there's a previous relationship there with Sabonis and Duarte, and so maybe that can help you. Like
I really like that
nothing
move.
Seems random that Monty does, and I really like the Duarte move, and I also just really trust that Monty is going to do the most with. Like Monty is very aware of how much cap space they have, and he also is very aware that there is a certain level of expectation. Not that expectation is going to lead to his decision making, but he understands that, if you're going to clear that much cap space, people are going to have a certain level of expectation. And I think he's probably going to deliver somewhat on it.
I think the Barnes re-signing is very solid. I like the Duarte move, but there still has to be more if you're going to be serious about keeping up with the big boys in the West. Up next, how much value at this point does James Harden actually have? That's next. Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Need your Niners fix? Sactown Sports has you covered.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think Trey looks significantly better than he did last year. I really do. I think his confidence is there. I think that he's throwing really good passes. I mean, just watching him, he just looks so much more comfortable and confident in the pocket, and I really appreciate that from him, from all the work that he's put into it. He just looks like he's having fun, because when he's out there having a good time, it definitely brings up everyone around him.
Get all your 49ers coverage leading into the 2023 season at Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Cockrell with Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. Signs, everywhere there's signs that there could be blue skies ahead. The S&P 500 may end the month in positive territory for the fourth straight month, which hasn't occurred since August 2021. Consumer confidence reports show that consumers expect higher stock prices for the first time since early 2022, a reversal of previous sentiment of lower valuation expectations, which lasted for 9 months. Since 1987, there's only been 3 other periods lasting that long, with rallies of 10.9% and 19% in 2 of those years. Inflationary expectations remain, but these are offset by the strong jobs market. The Bloomberg Market Regime Index has been squarely in the red for 15 months, has now entered the yellow, signaling possible moderate growth. All these signs may point to a lower chance of recession this year, but next year we may not be so lucky. Based on these signs, maybe it won't be just the temperature rising. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Frank Cockrell is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC and registered investment advisor. Retirement Security Centers is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisors.
Hello, Sacramento. Doug Christie here, and I have something to share. Recently, I asked myself to determine the one most indispensable thing I use to do my job, the one I couldn't do without. The winner, forget the phone, which I live on, and the video editor, which makes my life understandable. The winner was the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. Yes, the one I tell you about each week keeps me going comfortably supported, pain relieved, and vital. So it strikes me that if Good Feet is the most important go-to tool to relieve pain or just keep me going, shouldn't you give it a try? I think so. Come to the Good Feet store today for a free, no obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk. Experience the comfort, balance, and support of the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
The California Classic Summer League returns this July with 2 days of NBA triple header action and world-class entertainment. The Sacramento Kings will host the Warriors, Lakers, Heat, and newly added Spurs and Hornets. Single-day tickets start at just $22. Ticket holders for Wednesday, July 5th will be able to see a live concert by country artist Nico Moon. Visit kings.com/California Classic for more information and to buy your tickets today.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Bang on that like button. Got a lot of people watching today, listening, getting ready for everything that's to come here in NBA free agency. Speaking of basketball, Chris, I know, we all know how much you love Steph Curry. So how much of the golf did you watch yesterday? The match, Steph and Clay. Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes.
I only saw 2 clips. I saw one clip. Both clips involved Draymond Green, which is funny enough. One was Draymond trying to shotgun a beer, not correctly, and he failed terribly and spilled all over himself.
Was it worse than Durant when he tried to shotgun a beer after they won that first championship? Remember that video in the locker room?
I do remember it. It wasn't that bad, but it was still pretty bad. He was drinking out of like a weird contraption. It was kind of strange. But and then the other one was Steph saying, I want 3 more years with Draymond. That was it. That was my only consumption of the match. I don't know how it went. Don't know if Clay hit any holes in one or anything like that, but it didn't seem like much came out of it.
Yeah, I don't know that much about Clay as a golfer. I know he golfs. Steph's supposed to be like
incredible.
Yeah. And they lost. Did
they really?
3-2. So they were down 3 with 2 to go.
I bet. I mean, you're going up against Patrick Mahomes.
Something tells me Patrick Mahomes is probably Mahomes seems like one of those guys who's literally good at probably everything he picks up.
Like he was the guy in school that was just like, you think you're pretty good at something. He's like, oh, I've never tried this before.
Yes, yeah.
And then just like destroys you at it.
Literally everything. Like, I bet he can do pottery and like weird stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, okay, all you do is just like you mold the clay and then you're on the wheel.
I'll bet you he's not.
I bet you he can throw a beautiful vase right now, Whitey Gleason. I bet you anything. Next time on the match.
Did you see him throwing the football under the green from 100 yards?
I did see that. Yes. That was pretty impressive. Yeah. That was,
I mean, in the bunker though. See,
he did do that. He's not that good. Yeah. Not that good. We agree. But it was, I haven't really watched none of the matches have really intrigued me. I don't know what it would take for me. Like, I barely want to watch professionals play golf. Like, you would have to be really entertaining.
Yeah. I was just sitting there, in the chair in the evening and too tired to get up or anything. And I was watching Sports Center and that highlights came on. So it's like, oh, okay, I'll watch this rather than get up or turn the channel.
Slow day on Sports Center when they're showing highlights of the match.
The football players won, but
that actually really does surprise me. I wouldn't assume that football players would be better at golf than two NBA guys. It just feels like, I see Malik Monk is out there golfing every day. I just feel like football people, I don't know, just something about golf and football doesn't seem to go hand in hand, but basketball and golf for whatever reason seems to.
On the YouTube chat, people wondering about Jeremy Grant. Did he get picked up already?
He did not.
He ain't coming here.
No.
The Kings don't have enough money left to do that. I don't know that they ever really had any interest in that. And people are also talking about the view that, Sacramento just not a free agent destination. But as we said earlier, that may or may not be true. But with this free agent class, there really wasn't, and there still isn't a lot to choose from.
No, there's not. And I don't think that narrative really is true anymore. I think as long as you're a winning team and you have cap space, people will come. If this was a good free agency class and the Kings were pursuing people, at the top end of it, I don't think they would have had an issue bringing people in. I don't think that that's really, obviously if New York and Chicago and LA are in the mix, they're going to pick those places for even money over Sacramento. But if Sacramento has the money available and is in a good situation, I think the days of players completely being out on a place just because they quote unquote don't want to go there or it's not a big enough city, I think those days are pretty much over for the most part. Like, even a guy like Kyle Kuzma, who I have been adamant about, he doesn't want to come to Sacramento. He wants to play in the big lights. If the Kings would have offered Kyle Kuzma $25 or $30 million, he would have came here.
I think Mike Brown goes a long ways towards making that reality, if in fact it's true.
Sure.
And I agree with you, but we don't know. Unless and until the Kings sign some of those guys, we don't know that it's a fact. But it would make sense to me if you're a free agent and you're looking for, especially a team with the history of the Kings, the legitimacy and the stability of the franchise. Like, Mike Brown's there. Oh, okay. Well, you talk to him. All right, I think we're good.
Like, would you rather sign with Houston, who has a ton of money, or Sacramento right now? Like, to me, that's not even, if you actually care about your career and winning, like, I would at the moment pick Sacramento. Like, I don't even think it's a close question. And just because Houston has the money and Houston is in Houston and you don't get taxed and all that stuff, I don't think that would be a big enough factor to divert you away from coming to Sacramento.
Funny thing about Houston, and you know this because you actually told me this, you and Chris Verlaud told me about this, but James Harden is not going to Houston, apparently because of something that was said on a podcast.
Yeah.
Do we have that,
This
Chris?
is very 2023.
This was apparently, we were talking yesterday trying to unravel this James Harden thing, and I know we were trying to figure out, wait, he's opting in, but he wants out. Where's he going to go? And I know I was saying Houston, and you said, well, no, he wouldn't have opted in for that, but I didn't know of anyone else who wanted him.
Right.
Apparently he was considering Houston, but Paul George did a podcast with Jalen Green, and let me know if we have that.
So they're working on our computer system in the building.
We'll get to it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We'll get to it. Thank you. So what happened was,
Glad they let us know.
Paul George did an interview with
show.
Jalen Green on his podcast, and he said, hey, you know what? Paul George says to Jalen Green, hey, you're a young player. If James Harden goes there, he's going to take some shots away from you, and that's going to in some ways inhibit your growth. And Jalen Green's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's really just very matter of fact. He's like, I think he actually, the quote is like, yeah, I agree with you. No, I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
like, I think he actually, the quote is like, Yeah, I agree with you. No,
That's my fault.
That's me. I was like, I would love to be Jalen Green, or Paul George, as a matter of fact. I'll take it.
Yeah. So here is the audio from the Paul George podcast with Jalen Green.
This was an interesting scenario, Scott, because
that's not it. That doesn't have to be it. We'll
figure it out. The computers are just going haywire.
The point is, that apparently, according to the story, James Harden heard about Jalen Green's reaction to what Paul George said, and then James Harden decided, well, I don't want to go there.
Yeah. What? First off, that should not be what deters James Harden. It should be the fact that Houston is absolute dog water and they are going nowhere, and you're in a winning situation, and you shouldn't want to go to one of the worst teams of the past 2 or 3 years. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. That's one of the most ridiculous things. If that is true, and it does seem like there is at least a kernel of truth to it, that's just ridiculous to me, because Jalen is just literally like, yeah, like if James Harden comes here, he's going to eat into my shot attempts. And I can even acknowledge that that's probably not great for my career development. That's it. That's all he said.
Don't you wonder too a little bit about why Paul George is sticking his nose in that in the first place?
Yeah, I think that this is probably a learning lesson for Paul, and someone will have a conversation about how you might have just kind of ruined actual free agency for something. Like you could have just ruined an entire franchise's path here on your podcast. So that's actually kind of an incredible wrinkle. The fact that if you're a Houston Rockets fan, a podcast literally just derailed your future.
Now, I saw this yesterday on Twitter.
Or I guess might have helped.
I don't want to say where I saw it. I don't remember anyway. And maybe it was a joke. It was probably a joke. But did you see someone said, I'm told that the Kings are one of the teams interested in James Harden?
No.
Did you see that?
I did not see that. I'm glad I didn't see it, because you're clearly way too deep on Twitter if that's the kind of stuff you're seeing.
I saw it. Yeah.
They have I mean, Monty was in Houston when James Harden was there, so maybe there is some infatuation with the numbers, but I mean, I don't need to tell you that the fit doesn't make any sense.
The only way it would fit is if you took like everything you built, right? And tore it out,
took it and crumpled it.
All right, Harden and Sabonis, pick and roll. Go get them, guys.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what we are now.
And I don't think that works out very well for anybody. I don't think that works well for James. Doesn't work well for Sabonis. It definitely doesn't work out for the Kings.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
What is James Harden right now? And we were wrestling with this yesterday.
Yeah.
At least I was like, well, who wants him? And how much does he really give you right now?
It seems like the two teams that I've seen thrown out there are the Clippers, who seem to be the front runners. And the other one is interesting, Miami Heat, which tells me that maybe
the Knicks as well.
Wow, I think that also makes a lot of sense. They have RJ Barrett. Maybe they want to ship off Julius Randle. Mitchell Robinson's been somebody they keep throwing in trades as well. That makes a lot of sense to me. But I think your question is, I don't have an answer. What is James Harden at this point? Like, we kind of saw him last year transition a little bit more into a ball mover. I think he averaged over 10 assists last year. And, was that just a product of playing next to a MVP Joel Embiid, or is James Harden kind of ushering in a new chapter of his career? I don't know, but something tells me James Harden's probably going to revert back to the guy that he was.
He's unhappy everywhere he goes, and I'm not sure how much he actually helps you win. So,
especially come playoff time.
Yeah.
If he's your star, if he's your best player, I mean, he had 2 good games in that Celtics series, but besides that, he was nowhere to be found.
Coming up next is a backup now, the belle of the free agent ball, and do the Kings have a shot at him? Next, Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track, makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Are you ready for the ultimate 4th of July celebration? Get ready to kick off the summer in style with the hottest deals in town at Elk Grove Kia. For those looking to go green, we have the award-winning all-electric Kia EV6. With its sleek design and 0 emissions, it's the future of driving. Lease the EV6 for just $489 per month and experience the thrill of electric power. But wait, we've got something even bigger for you. The Kia Telluride, the hottest SUV on the market, is here with prices so low we can't even advertise. We have 11 Tellurides available for immediate delivery. These deals are the best we've had in over 3 years, so hurry in for the best selection. Our general manager guarantees that if there's a car, SUV, or truck you're willing to take the keys for, we'll find a way to fit your budget at Elk Grove Kia today. Don't buy until you check us out at elkgrovekia.com.
2023 Kia EP6 with 36-month lease, $5,150 customer cash to assigning residual $29,849.70 based on 10K per year, 20 cents per mile over, 0 security deposit required. Kia Finance Tier 1 FICO score 740 plus, subject to lender approval. One of this payment, GK 86091043777, expires on 5/2023.
Elk Grove Kia.
July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento. And I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 74 years. Look for Made in America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Did you know that money market accounts offer higher dividends than a traditional savings account, all while still being able to access your money at any time? Hey, Jason Ross here, and I want to tell you to step up your earning power with a Level Up money market savings account at Safe Credit Union. With competitive dividend rates, you can take your savings to the next level. Visit safecu.org/levelup for more information and to open up an account today. Insured by NCUA.
It's the 4th of July sell-a-thon at Folsom Lake Ford. All your favorite models on sale. F-150s, Explorers, Broncos in stock now. Don't miss 4th of July savings. Shop FolsomLakeFord.com, your truck headquarters.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I just figured out, Chris Watkins, what Paul George's game is. Paul George is doing that podcast, right, with Jalen Green. He says, hey, you know, if James Harden goes there, that'll kind of hold you back. Ooh. Because Paul George knows James Harden, if he doesn't go there, maybe we can get him in LA to join the Clippers.
Play that X-Files music.
That's what Paul George was
getting at. I don't think you're wrong there. That makes a lot of Paul George he's been in the league a while. Something tells me that he could, and you're ignorant if you think that James Harden and Paul George have never talked about playing together at any point, and you might be onto something there. Yeah. You really might need to put your tinfoil hat on.
A second to figure that out, but yeah.
All those dots connect.
Yes.
And, obviously he probably wasn't assuming at that moment that, oh, yeah, James is going to hear this and he's really going to get upset at this. But definitely planting some seeds maybe even into Jalen to be like.
Kibosh this whole beard to Houston thing.
Yeah, maybe Jalen then goes to the Rockets front office and is like, I was thinking about something over the weekend. If we bring in James, he might take away shots from me, and I don't know if I like that. So need to think about me too. And so maybe Paul George is working. There's a saying, the devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder. And maybe,
Really?
Yeah, maybe Paul
Okay.
George is taking a book out of Kris Jenner's
so.
book and just really moving pieces along the board.
Chris Watkins, Kevin Michael, Whitey Gleason, Chris and Company. NBA free agency hits today. Interestingly, the James Harden story is one of the biggest subplots here, although that's not even a free agent story because he opted in.
He opted in, right? This will be a trade. So that's another interesting factor is, what's going to be the return for James Harden at this point in his career? And with him pretty much like Philly really doesn't have much leverage. And we've seen how, man, Whitey, that just made me think of something.
Uh-oh.
If we have to go through another Daryl Morey sitting on.
Oh, yeah. Make yourself comfortable. We're going to be here a while.
I don't want to do this again.
That's what he does.
I don't want to go through this all over again. We just did this. He can't keep getting away with this. Oh, my goodness. And here we are. Yeah, I think that this is going to be a situation where we don't know what James Harden's return is going to be, but Daryl Morey is not just going to take, okay, Miami really wants him and he wants to go there, so we're going to take Victor Oladipo and some protected first-round picks, and that's what we're getting back for James Harden.
You can't keep getting
Thank
away
you.
with
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. For that. He can't keep getting away with this. Yeah.
He's actually good at it.
He's really good at it. He's too good at it. And that's the problem is he's setting a precedent that I don't like. At some point, people are going to take this Daryl Morey school of knowledge and they are going to apply it to every single trade. And now we're never going to get deals done. But he's doing his job. Like, absolutely. Daryl Morey should not bend to James Harden's request just because James wants to leave. If James wanted to leave, he should have opted out.
Right.
And so now he's at mercy of Daryl and
right.
And
it's like,
whatever.
all right, you
We're
want me
all
to
at
leave?
mercy.
I'll just opt in.
Right.
Make it harder for you. And then
Daryl's like,
you're going to opt in? Okay, sit tight.
I'm going to make it harder for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just, we just saw how this book plays out, and it's going to be a long journey. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't know why James would do this. I don't know. Just buckle up because this is going to be a long, long ride.
Yeah. We'll see how
It
interesting
sucks.
things get for the Kings, how much more interesting they get. Harrison Barnes is going to sign an extension. And today, of course, came the news that the Kings are close to a trade with the Pacers. It appears there's no reporting that this could go another way, right? I mean, you always have, physicals and things as Giants fans know, nothing's done until it's done. But this is not being reported as a possible trade. It's being reported as a trade that is all but done.
We're talking about
Chris Duarte
yes.
coming to Sacramento
yes.
from the Pacers.
I believe the deal is not done. I believe that they are still hammering out the specifics of it. Like I said, it was supposed to be, as it was reported this morning, it was for draft compensation, but from what I understand,
nearing the trade.
They are nearing the trade. There's also, like I mentioned earlier, like there's still some cap gymnastics that can be done here. From what I understand, the Rashawn Holmes deal isn't officially done yet, so there's a chance that they could turn it into like a traded player exception, and then just bring on Duarte with that trader, the exception, or they can operate as they can now move to. There's a ton of different situations that can play out here. But the point is, yes, the deal is not done yet.
I don't pretend to understand what they all
exactly.
are, what they mean, but I know there are a lot of options.
Yes, I know some of these words. Yeah.
But again, I also know that if that's all the Kings do, if it's Harrison Barnes, maybe they keep Trey Lyles, they bring in Duarte, people are going to be, if that's all it is, I think a lot of fans will be disappointed, and I wouldn't blame them. So,
I wouldn't either.
So we'll see about that.
Yes, we are in a wait-and-see mode.
Yeah, Duarte is a pretty solid pickup, especially because as Chris pointed out to me, when he was with the Pacers, he and Domantas Sabonis had real good chemistry.
Really good chemistry, yeah. And so that should play over really well here in Sacramento. It should make his transition about as easy as it could. I'm also curious. I wonder if he's going to be on the Summer League team because he's in his third year in the NBA, really struggled last year. I don't know how quickly they can get him over here, but if they can get him over by the end of next week, maybe there's a possibility that they can add him to the Summer League squad. I saw,
another thing people are upset about, by the way, is Keegan's playing in the Summer League. What?
Oh, don't give me
some people, I think, are a little concerned about that.
It's okay. It's okay. People.
He's a basketball player.
Yeah, he's a basketball player.
Basketball players play basketball.
He's going to play in probably, I would imagine 1, maybe 2 of the summer. I bet he only plays like the first quarter of that second summer league
if
game.
he doesn't play summer league, he's still going to be playing basketball somewhere. We're just not going to know about it.
And with Wemby not playing also, I don't want to draw too many conclusions, but something tells me that the Kings marketing might have been like, hey, we're not getting Wembanyama. Can we try and get some ticket sales by having Keegan Murray maybe at least being on the roster, maybe might buy a couple extra tickets. And I think he's probably going to play that first game. Don't know so much about the second, but if people are upset about Keegan Murray playing summer league, I mean, come on. Like, to me, that's it's only positive. Like, I think it's a great sign that Keegan's working here in Sacramento, being comfortable. We saw he talked with the media yesterday, said he's been working with De'Aaron Fox pretty much since the season ended. So that's good, getting the chemistry with Fox. But also, it's just this is kind of Keegan's opportunity to be a leader as well. Like, Keegan Murray, as we know, last year was incredibly quiet, very reserved. This is an opportunity for him to be one of the more veteran guys with this club and have an opportunity to kind of see what it would be like to have Keegan, telling guys what to do and having him be more vocal, because that's going to be a huge part of his development. If he wants to be a second or third or maybe even one day a first option, who knows? I mean, he was the 4th pick in the draft. He's going to have to be some semblance of a leader and be able to speak his mind and give his thoughts on things to not only coaches, but also to his teammates as well.
We mentioned yesterday that the 2019 free agent summer for the NBA saw 7 players switch teams on deals of $100 million or more. Since then, there have been only 2 guys who've done that in the 3 years since.
Right.
It was Jalen Brunson and Gordon Hayward. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but right now, as you look at it, who is even the biggest free agent on the board right now? I mean, I guess Kyrie, but we think we know what he's going to do.
Yeah,
And
Middleton maybe, but same thing.
I mean, Kyrie can say he's going to meet with whoever he wants to meet with. It's like, it just doesn't matter. You can't just pick your team.
Yeah.
There are rules about that. They don't have the money to pay you.
They don't. You can't just do it. So I don't understand the Kyrie situation at all. Again, he met with Phoenix yesterday.
I think he could say that every season.
Right, exactly. And again, I'm just glad that the Kyrie situation means something that actually has to do with basketball and not something completely way different than basketball. So I think that's a positive.
Watch this. I'll drive everybody crazy. Yeah. And people are just like, what's wrong with you?
He's like, tuna is actually great on hot dogs. And it's just like, what? He would just say something to just really upset people, just to be controversial.
Make sure to get that Pepsi ketchup with it.
Oh my God, Chris.
I don't have a problem with the Pepsi ketchup. I'd give it a try.
That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, you got your ketchup. It's going to taste like ketchup and maybe a little sweeter, right? That's all it's going to taste like. You're not going to go, somebody put Pepsi in my ketchup.
I'm out.
You gotta try it.
I'll try it, I guess. It might be fine on a hot dog. I mean, Lord knows what's in hot dogs anyway.
Coming up here in just a moment, Bruce Brown is not a starter, but he's one of the hottest names on the free agent market. Do the Kings have a shot at him? And also, how much better were the Kings with HB on the floor last year? That's pretty easy to determine. And if you're a Kings fan, I think you'll like the results. We'll do that next. Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Apparently, there is a cage match brewing between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. Now, I hope this happens for many reasons. Number one, it just goes with the downfall of our society. Number two, nothing more fun than seeing super ultra mega billionaires just beat the hell out of each other. Number three, it would obviously be a terrible, terrible, terrible fight.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Pagan Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Bang that like button on YouTube. A lot of people checking us out today, Chris Watkins. A lot of people just hanging on your every word as they await the start of NBA free agency. Mercy, mercy me, the free agency.
My goodness. Let's try and get that thumbs up number to, let's set a goal. Let's set
42.
It's at 42 right now. Let's try and set it for, we'll get 55. Let's try and get 55 at least by noon.
Well, you gotta give people the reason. What are you going to do for
them?
That's what are you going to do on YouTube?
That's easy.
What are you or Verlad going to do on YouTube if they get to 55?
I'll make sure that Monty McNair signs somebody. How about that? I promise you, Monty McNair will sign somebody if we can get this to 55. And we're climbing. Look at that. That's all you needed to say.
Yeah.
Got to give the people what they want, you know?
Well played.
I promise.
Before we get to Bruce Brown, Ryan Coda on the YouTube chat says, Whitey, I wouldn't mind Keegan playing in Vegas, but the California Classic is full of undrafted and walk-on hopefuls who will be playing 110% and diving for loose balls, which risks injury for others.
That's called basketball. That is called the game of basketball. I mean, you know, sure, I hear you, like, but that could, you know, yeah, Keegan Murray, again, like, they could get hurt doing anything. Like,
these guys are playing basketball every day.
Yes, every single day.
Yeah, whether we see him do it or not in the California Classic. I'll tell you the other side of that. I think we've talked about this. Last summer, Clay, coming off of the 2 catastrophic injuries, he wouldn't go to the gym because he'd torn his ACL in the 2019 finals, rehabbed that, and then right before he's going to come back 2 years later, whatever it was, tore his Achilles playing pickup. And last year, the season ended, you know, they won the championship. He didn't want to play pickup.
Right. That's
he
crazy.
Just wouldn't. Yeah, like a mental block. Like he
Yeah.
couldn't do it. The season started and he was in terrible shape.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you need to be playing in order. Like, there is no running. Like, you can run 4 miles a day, and that's not going to prepare you for basketball conditioning. Like, basketball conditioning is just so much different. Start, stop. You know, the times where you're going full out for, you know, 40 seconds at a time or whatever it is. Like, there's nothing that you can get you conditioned truly for playing, especially NBA level basketball, except for playing the game. And so I'm never going to be mad at, you know, I guess I shouldn't say never, because, you know, as we're going to talk, not today, but as we talk in the past about, you know, guys playing for their international clubs, we don't enjoy that as much. But I just think that, you know, these guys, they play pickup, as you mentioned, all the time, and against undrafted people, against college kids, against international players as well. Like, they're always playing, not always with NBA level talent. And there's always going to be people who are like, oh, that's James Harden I'm going against. I'm definitely going to go for his legs or try and be crafty or whatever it is, give more body to him. Like, that's always the risk of playing basketball when you're these guys. And I'm not going to be mad at Keegan Murray for playing in an incredibly organized basketball game.
We just lapped your goal, by the way.
Good.
Yeah.
Look at that. Easy. And I said by 12.
All right.
That was light.
Since you gave something, I'll give something, Chris. If we get to 100 by 12 o'clock, I'll bring back the slow jam update.
Ooh. Whitey's never even experienced a slow jam update. We need the slow jam update so much.
I did hear it once.
We need, and it's a Friday too, Chris. Yeah. Oh, what a great prize that would be. Yes, people,
I have heard
please.
That. Yes.
Let's get to 100 likes. I will create some fake accounts if that's what it takes. Let's get to 100 likes.
I have heard that because I remember Morgan saying that was really good.
It's way better. Yeah. It is so much better than the aggressive. Here's Chris Verlon with your sports update.
A question here, Chris, from Farmer Bleezy 22, of course.
Love that.
The YouTube chat. Y'all think Davion is out with the most recent move? I don't think it has anything to do with Davion.
No,
Good
I don't
question,
think so.
But I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Nothing about the move points for Davion to be out. I still will contest that I think the Kings need to bring in another backup point guard, because I just don't think Davion has shown the ability to really be that backup playmaker. Malik had the ball in his hands a lot more than Davion did as the backup, and I think personally, I would like to see the Kings bring in somebody who at least has capabilities of running the offense if Davion, for whatever reason, on a given night isn't working.
I still think Bruce Brown would be a great fit for the Kings. Haven't heard anything or seen anything linking them to him, so we don't know if they have any interest or if he has any interest. But the Nuggets are prohibited, no matter what Michael Malone says, the Nuggets are prohibited from paying more than $7.8 million per season. So Brown, it looks like he would like to stay with Denver, and it's a good fit and everything, but this is probably his best chance at a significant long-term contract.
Yeah, and you can't blame him for it. I mean, obviously he's in about as good of a situation as he can be in Denver, but if you have the opportunity to almost double the money that you can get paid there and also lock it down for 3 years and still be in a winning situation, I mean, can't blame the guy.
So the Lakers were the first interested team, as reported by the Denver Post. And since then, the Mavericks, he's supposed to meet with the Mavericks. The Knicks have interest. And, of course, the Rockets. They're in on every.
I mean, the Rockets could just pay him like $30 million and just be like, we don't really care, dude. We have to spend this money.
They've been mentioned as potential suitors. Mark Stein reported Thursday that the Pacers had emerged as another threat.
I don't
Pacers
really love any of those.
Were considered the most serious suitor due to their combination of available money and a potential starting position next to Tyrese Halliburton. So if somebody can offer Bruce Brown a starting spot, then the Kings would be, out of the running.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's tough. I mean, there's nothing you can really do to compete with that except for throw him a little bit more money. But I just think Bruce Brown should be a role player on a good team. I don't love him as a starter especially if you're going to lock him down for like 3 or 4 years at starter money.
I'm with you. But I will tell you this: if he goes anywhere, that helps the Kings because it does weaken the Nuggets.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And the Nuggets are going to be based a lot more in young guys who are unproven. And we saw that with how many draft picks they tried to acquire, or they did acquire right before the draft. That's a really good point. And it sounds like besides the Rockets and the Lakers, and I guess Dallas, the Knicks would be the team that I'm rooting for him to go to because that's on the East and doesn't really have any concern with the Kings at all. So that'll be interesting because not a lot of those teams are in winning situations. I think Dallas is probably the best overall fit for him there, but
Dallas is scaring me.
They are also scaring me. I just think a lot of people, I mean, when you have Luka, you have Kyrie, you have a good owner in Mark Cuban, that's a pretty intriguing situation to go to. And then there's also the Texas element of it. Again, no taxes, and Dallas is a pretty big city in itself.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's go to JR. Let's go to the phones here on this very special Friday.
Where's JR been?
Yeah, JR, where have you been?
Yeah, under a cave. Under a cave in a rock.
If you listen, close your eyes and listen, JR. You know Mayhem on those commercials?
Mayhem.
That's him.
Yes.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Same energy.
Your backyard is a smorgasbord, and I'm here to ruin it. How's that?
What can we do for you today?
Happy birthday, America.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Let's all do a shot of Pepsi ketchup for America's birthday.
Well said.
Only in America will we friggin' have Pepsi ketchup.
Yes.
We're so friggin' disrailed. Oh, my God. But let's talk about Keegan.
Yeah.
He should be playing 25, 30 minutes a game in this summer league, especially the one here. These are must-win games. I'll tell you right now, if the playoffs started today, we wouldn't be in.
Wow, the summer league playoffs? Yeah.
You know, I don't know why they don't have Portland in this freaking thing. We needed him going against Chris head-to-head.
Ooh.
By the way, that is the most – to me, I know all this stuff about who we're picking, and we just gave Barnes, a little too much. By the way, you talked about Twitter. There's nothing better than Queen. I used to always think Niner Twitter and Giants Twitter were the best. There's nothing like King's Twitter. Oh, my God. They acted like Barnes was like 50 years old. They're like, oh, my God. I'm like, 18 million. It just cracked me up. I'm like, do you guys all have freaking selective amnesia? I mean, besides the shot he missed in game 4, which it's starting to be the one shot where everyone wants to bug him on, but he's worth it. Anyway, where was I? I was all disrailed because he got me all excited. King's Twitter. My Lord, it is so fun every morning. That's full entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's the best. I mean, besides that guy, City fan, everyone else is pretty cool on Twitter. So, happy birthday. You guys have a great show. Talk to you. Hey, 100 likes. Get the boys there.
Yes. Thank you, JR. Incredible.
Yeah. Right now we're at the mark of the beast.
That's
so that's not
incredible.
well, no, that would be 3 of them, but twin sixes there.
JR is the King's Twitter of 1140 phone callers.
Absolutely. Oh man, I love JR.
Yeah. Harrison Barnes, 18 mil. It's like, yeah, that's about what a guy like that's gonna get.
It's about the going rate. If anything, I'm telling you, like, we're gonna look back at Kyle Kuzma, we're gonna see Jeremy Grant, we're gonna see what Chris Middleton makes as well. And yeah, like Harrison Barnes might not be to the scorer quality of Kyle Kuzma or Jeremy Grant, but when you look at the money they're gonna make, if you can bring in Harrison Barnes and someone else, to me, you're going to get more value out of those two pieces than just bringing in one of those guys. So I'm okay with it. I can't believe that I'm in a situation here where I'm the Harrison Barnes defender, me of all people.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Funny.
And JR's completely right. Like, I mean, King's Twitter, you would have thought Harrison Barnes was completely washed, missed every single shot this year, and, shot 40% from the field. Like, it was just a bloodbath on Twitter all day and all night as well. It was just, it's been ridiculous.
Maybe I will regret saying this, but I don't think I will regret saying this. I'm just glad that Kyle Kuzma is not coming.
Yes.
I don't think,
frankly, I am too.
That would have worked here. I think Kyle Kuzma is overrated.
I agree. I think that there was a true 50-50 shot that it worked, that it was better for us, or it would have just been a different look, but same result. And that, I really feel like it probably would have been that. I think it would have been different for the sake of being different. I don't necessarily know if it would have been better, necessarily just different.
Well, I'm going to make it easier for you to defend Harrison Barnes because we have, as a promise, those numbers of how much better the Kings were with him on the floor last year. Got that coming up. Also, when Bobby Marks breaks down the Kings options after the Harrison Barnes deal, what does any of it mean? We will tackle that next. Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
The Kings season might be over, but Sactown Sports coverage never stops.
I feel like we grew a lot during this playoff series with our defense, and if we can sustain that during the year, that's going to help us a lot.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save. Right now, save on Valspar 5-gallon Ultra Flat Paint. Was $131, now just $123. Plus, MVP's Pro Rewards members earn up to 900 bonus points with the purchase of a Graco Magnum X7 paint sprayer. Lowe's knows pros. Valspar offer valid through 8/2. Selection varies by location. Estimated bonus points valid through 6/30. Actual awarded bonus points calculated on purchase price before taxes and after applicable discounts, if any. Subject to program terms and conditions.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical pool, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Hoblet Dodge, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Are you one of those players that finishes a round, takes off your golf shoes, and dumps them in your car trunk? Golf Digest says you can extend the life of your shoes with just a bit of care. Use a little warm water and maybe a drop of soap to wipe away any dirt after your round. Actually, I just wipe mine with a wet towel when I take them off, and they stay looking like new. Also, use shoe trees to maintain their shape and keep the insides dry. If you have more than one pair, rotate them so you don't wear the same shoes 2 days in a row. Change your spikes because new spikes will help you get more traction for your faster than necessary swing. And with Sacramento's hot summers, give your shoes a break and don't leave them in the trunk of your car. That will suck the life right out of them. With so many brands, styles, and colors on the market today, you can certainly find the right pair for your personality and your game. When you think about it, golf shoes are really part of your equipment. Treat them well. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa. At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. See our selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. Today at 3 p.m., NBA teams are allowed to officially start negotiating with free agents, but the Kings are already rumored to have made some moves before that. Yesterday, news broke that Harrison Barnes will be returning with the Kings on a 3-year, $54 million contract. Today, The Athletic's Sean Sarania is reporting that the Kings are nearing a trade to get guard Chris Duarte for draft compensation. For more on today's NBA free agency news, make sure to stay locked in on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Chris, I'm starting to think that Harrison Barnes is a little bit of a lightning rod with Kings fans. That there are some that really like him a lot, and that there are some that ultimately are dissatisfied by what they get from him.
I'm really surprised.
I think we're hearing from both sides today, day after the Kings have announced that they are going to be inking Harrison Barnes to a 3-year extension worth what, 54 mil, 18 mil?
Yeah, 18 mil a year. And we don't know how that 18 or that 54 is going to be distributed. It could be, it could be escalating how typically contracts are. So it could start at 16 and
10%
in 3
trade
years.
kicker in there as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think that's going to be an end all be all, but that's definitely not nothing. A 10% trade kicker is definitely something that has to be considered if they are going to move him. And it could also be a declining contract though as well. As Harrison gets older, maybe they pay him 19 million this year, 18 next year, and then are paying him 16 million on the back end when he's more likely to be coming off the bench. That's what I would like to see, but we just don't know the details of that yet.
Yeah, this from Star HD on the YouTube chat. Barnes' steal and block rate is poop.
Sure.
And I'm not. That's literally.
He's not
what
mincing
it said.
words there at all. But everything you do turns to poo. Yeah. How's the poll looking right now? Is it?
Good question.
have
We
it
go to
right
Chris
from the
Verlad.
yes.
Chris Verlad, update on the Harrison Barnes poll.
How do you feel about the Kings bringing back Harrison Barnes? As of right now, terrible is only 8%, so not a lot of people think it's terrible.
Okay.
22% still waiting. 25% said great, but most of it, almost half, 46%, fine.
Good.
That's fine. Thank you.
I think that's how I felt about it. I was like, yeah, okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it's not the best deal, but it's not going to cripple them at
And in
all.
free agency as fans, just as fans, not right-thinking, logical, rational people, but as fans, we want more.
Yes, no, I mean the vocal majority of people, or the majority of people who have been very vocal, they have not been happy, and I'm shocked because I felt like a lot of people really loved Harrison Barnes, like regardless of how he played during the regular season. I thought people were really big fans of him, so it really must have been him missing that shot and just his overall playoff performance that really soured people on him, which is really surprising to me because I just don't factor in those 7 games as much as apparently everybody else does. I think that that's definitely something that I'm noting, but I'm not going to completely change how I view somebody just because they had a bad stretch of games.
You know what that reminds me of is in football or basketball, a guy will play a whole season and then he'll, have a body of work over his career as a college player. I know, and they're young players, but they have a body of work. Then they go to the combine. It's like, oh, he had a bad combine.
Right.
Well, so what?
Exactly. No, that's a fantastic parallel because that's really how it is. It's like, yeah, you'll be whatever. And then you run a 4.5 and people are like,
boy.
He looks really fast on tape, but the combine number said he's 4.5. So
yeah,
he must suck. Like he must actually be slow. And my eyes must have been deceiving me for the past 3 years. And it's just like,
exactly.
How about he's just the guy that you see on tape and what you saw also is something that, again, factor in, but it shouldn't change your idea completely of who they are.
Here are some numbers that I think will help us understand why the Kings wanted to do this. First of all, and I think Brendan Nunes had these numbers today at Kings Herald, of the 9 most used lineups the Kings used last year, the 9 most used lineups, HB was in 8 of them.
How about that?
Okay. And you look at how they were with HB on the floor last year and off the floor. With Harrison Barnes on the floor last year, they had an offensive rating, 120 points per 100 possessions, okay? With him on the floor, their offensive rating was 120. Their defensive rating was 115.2. That's a defensive rating is pretty high, but still that's a plus.
Yes.
4.8. With him off the floor, no Harrison Barnes, they're at 112.8 on offense and 112.8 on defense. Again, there are other players involved there.
Right.
Because the offensive rating and defensive rating includes 5 guys on the floor.
Right.
But there you are. They were better with Harrison Barnes on the floor last year.
Yes. I mean,
clearly.
That seems to make sense. I mean, I know Harrison was just like you mentioned, he was in 8 of the top 9 lineups that they used in general.
He's versatile.
He's very versatile. He's a plug and play. He can play the 3. He can play the 4. He's just a really good, solid piece. And I think the important thing is just that he's not heavily leaned on. I think when he first came here, it was, okay, Harrison Barnes might be our 2nd or 3rd best player. I like the situation where he's in now, where he's just not as needed to be important for the Kings to win. I think if they can make Harrison Barnes' importance less and less, then him disappearing affects the team less and less. And when he does play well, it's just a positive and it's not really a negative if he's not giving you that every single night. And I feel like the Kings are just slowly building up those other options. And to me, Harrison's a great player to have on your team. It's just how much do you rely on him to be consistent every night is going to be deterrent on how good or bad you feel about him. And I think as he just gets pushed further and further down the pecking order or the priority list, I think it's only better for Sacramento.
I'm only going to tell you this because you're my friend. I saved you from that spider and everything.
You did, yeah.
I'm your friend.
Yeah.
Someone's coming down your road on the YouTube chat.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Ryan, what else is new?
Ryan Coda says, Chris.
Yes.
Don't be all on the Barnes wagon now.
I like the Barnes wagon. That's good.
You just said an hour ago that he always disappears.
And I just said it right there. I just said it. He does disappear. But the problem is when he disappears and you're heavily relying on him as your 3rd option, then it's like, oh my gosh, where do we go? We're relying on this guy. But if you are bringing him in and De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter, that's just 4, and maybe you put Harrison there, or maybe you put Malik there next. If you move him further and further down the line of importance in terms of scoring, it doesn't matter if he disappears. It's because it's almost more baked in that you have the freedom to almost disappear because those other guys are going to be able to pick up the slack. And if anything, it allows Harrison to hopefully focus more on doing the other things that he's also really great at. He's great at getting those timely free throws, or, sometimes he had to defend other teams' best wings. That's still a problem with this team. That's why I want them to bring in a guy like Torrey Craig or somebody who's a defensive-minded, long, versatile defender, because Harrison Barnes a lot of the times is tasked with just standing in the corner offensively, but defensively, go guard Paul George, go guard Kawhi Leonard, go guard Giannis. Like, they don't have answers for those kind of guys. And if Harrison can focus, if his role is diminished offensively, he can just really focus his energy and effort more on little small things that he's also really good at doing.
He may be the ultimate lower ceiling, high floor guy. He's very efficient offensively.
I think he's a good high floor, low ceiling. Like, I don't think
that's what I said. Low ceiling, high floor. Yeah.
Oh, yes, you did. Sorry. Yes,
that's
you just said it backwards.
That's all right.
My brain does.
By the way, also, your friend, you're not going to get to 100 likes by noon.
You don't think so? Is that a challenge?
Well, you're not. I'm just telling you, you're not. It was like, it reminds me of, the great Tiger Woods. He wanted to surpass Jack Nicklaus's record for the most majors.
Yes.
And he was Tiger Woods. He was freaking great. And you're great, but you're just not going to, it's just not going to happen.
So just the 229 viewers right now, Whitey just doesn't believe in you.
He just doesn't believe in you. He thinks that you guys don't have that dog in you.
You're asking too much. That's all. You're asking too much.
This is the problem. This is the Harrison Barnes thing. Is I ask too much because I know what they're capable of. I know that we're capable of hitting 100 likes. It's just, sometimes
don't hurt yourself.
No, I just believe, I have faith in our listenership and in our viewers that we can hit 100 likes. It's a really simple task. It's a really easy thing to do. And plus we get much better updates if we get 100 likes, because I really don't want to blow my ears out listening to rock music.
Remember,
Please.
I don't even really work here. So, that's you do. So maybe you know better than I.
Look, I do. We got the best listeners in sports. Look at that. We're climbing already, and we're going to hit it. We're going to hit it. Come on. We got 20 minutes, people. We got Jerry Reynolds at 1:00.
That's great.
Let's get 100 so Jerry can get a nice smooth update.
Bobby Marks, the great Bobby Marks, former member of an NBA front office. He actually interviewed with Vlade to be the assistant GM here once, and I think
that would have been.
I think he just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, he probably was like, "Oh, this is gonna look bad on my resume."
Yeah, but he likes Vlade, but he says Sacramento still has flexibility this offseason after the Harrison Barnes extension. Going to go through these quickly, and a lot of this has to do with the new CBA and cap room. But just to give you some idea, and also just to see if I understand as well as I think I do, options include 1. Using $18 million in room, and also bringing back Trey Lyles. Room meaning room under the cap.
Yes.
So you got that $18 million. Some of this presumably would be used towards Chris Duarte, and you bring back Trey Lyles. 2, combination of renegotiating the Sabonis deal, bringing back Lyles, and then use the remaining room and also the $7.7 million room mid-level. What room are we talking about?
I believe that's what they're going to bring Sasha over with as well.
Okay. We're talking about cap room. If you have room under the cap, you get a $7.7 million room mid-level exception. 3, says Bobby Marks, act as a team over the cap. What does that mean? If you're over the cap, then you get to use a mid-level exception.
Full mid-level,
$12.4 million.
Yes. And those are all 3. 3 is the option that I kind of like the most. I really like if they could use that $12.5 million, but also option number 2 for me, I just don't understand the renegotiating Sabonis' contract. I just don't. I like the idea of them using the money available to bring in as many pieces as possible. I think, Duarte is a good start on that. Bringing back Trey Lyles could be a really big piece for a versatile 4-5 option. Yep. And then again, signing a backup center and another wing. And if you can get a backup playmaker, I've started to maybe wonder if maybe Jordan Ford, who is signed to the Kings Summer League squad, if that could be the Kings' third point guard. But
so you said option 3 is where you're going?
I think option 3 is what I would like. But also option number 1 is also pretty good too. If they can use that 18 mil, which I guess now would be closer to like 13.5 with Duarte.
Right.
Using that and then you imagine Lyles is probably going to bring back $3 to $4, maybe $5 million. So I don't know how that. I'm not a cap expert, so I can't really tell exactly how it breaks down.
This has changed because of the new CBA. So even people like Bobby Marks are having to go, okay, what is it now?
Right.
Yeah. But I'm with you, and I think to me it looks like they're leaning in that direction too.
It seems
we'll know
that
soon
way.
enough.
Yes, we will. I mean, we are now almost a little over 3 hours away from NBA trade deadline. I'm sorry, NBA trade deadline from this. From this free agency.
Forget what I said about you not hitting 100.
Man, I'm telling you, you just got to believe in the people. That was nothing. That was light. Oh my!
You don't have it yet.
Come on now, people. No, we got it. We got it. Mine says 100. Mine says 100.
That's
what I'm talking about, people. It was easy.
I withdraw my previous comments.
Come on, man.
Coming up next, LeBron is mad. LeBron is very mad at Michael Malone, and who could blame him? Next, Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Hey, movie fans, the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento is now serving adult beverages. Playing this week, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the IMAX experience.
I've been looking for this all my life. Give them hell, Indiana Jones!
See Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny on the largest screen in Sacramento. Getting tickets is easy. Visit IMAX.com/Sacramento for showtimes and reserved seating. Plus, join the free IMAX Directors Club for special member pricing on tickets and concession items each time you visit the Esquire IMAX Theater.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's the 4th of July Sell-a-thon at Folsom Lake Ford. All your favorite models on sale. F-150s, Explorers, Broncos in stock now. Don't miss 4th of July savings. Shop FolsomLakeFord.com, your truck headquarters.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
We have a trade. News of a trade to share with you does not involve the Kings, but with free agency tipping off. By the way, when people say free agency in basketball kicks off, no, it's not. We're not talking about football. It's basketball. Tips off. The season doesn't kick off in basketball. It tips off. Anyway,
thank you. I agree wholeheartedly with that.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So anyway, tips off today at 3, but we do have word of a trade.
Yes. The Detroit Pistons, Detroit basketball has acquired the services of one Joseph Harris. Joe Harris has been traded from the Brooklyn Nets to the Detroit Pistons. Harris, along with Joe Harris, the Nets sent a 2027 second rounder and a 2029 second rounder to Detroit. I don't believe there is word yet on what Detroit is sending back.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's Joe Harris and two second rounders?
Joe Harris and 2 second rounders. Joe Harris is on a $19.9 million expiring contract. So you have to assume that Detroit is just not having any intentions of winning the NBA title next year. They're just going to eat that contract for next year and use that 19.9 to open up the salary cap for next year.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you got Joe Harris now, you got Bagley, you got Wiseman.
Mm-hmm. It's the land of misfit toys. It's the land of Corey Joseph is still over there as well. It's just a bunch of people that no one else really wants on their team, to be honest.
Have, Cade, if he's healthy.
Sure.
If
he's healthy, yeah.
They do have some. I like
Isaiah Stewart
too. I love him.
Come on,
yeah.
Everybody's got to love Isaiah
Stewart.
Yeah. Jalen Duren showed some things last year. Who did they draft? Did they get one of the Thompsons, right?
Ausar,
yeah, they got Ausar Thompson. Yeah, again, they have no intention of winning the NBA title next
They
year.
almost have two rosters to me. They have the roster that they wanted to use to tank their way into hopefully getting Wembanyama last year, and that didn't work.
Did not.
And then they have another half of the roster. It's like, we actually think these guys might actually be pretty good,
right,
and could help us win.
Yeah, the Bojan Bogdanovic thing is like an anomaly. I don't understand what is going on there. They just extended him for another year. He's going to be making $19 million this year, $18 million next year. To me, like, I mean, I don't know how available he is, but that's the kind of piece that I think the Kings could really use. Really, I mean, he's not going to have much use on that Detroit team. Like I said, they have no intentions of winning a ton of ball games. To me, Bojan Bogdanovic is a guy who could impact winning and is a really good four that you can throw in there, and obviously spaces the floor really well, moves really well, and I think
great hair, but he can shoot.
Terrible hair, but I think he could. I think he would be a really good fit here in Sacramento. Just got to make it. I don't know. I don't think that Detroit is looking to move him, but I think any winning team would really benefit from bringing him in.
I think if my hair ever got to that point, I think I would just shave it.
I'm always like that. No, I completely agree. I don't understand this LeBron thing. Just if it's going, let it go, man.
Right.
Like, just let it go.
Right.
And, put a hat on. It's okay. I know you obviously can't play with a hat, but put on a headband or something, or bald heads is just, I don't know. Some people, I guess, look really, really strange with bald heads, but for the most part, I think they're fine.
I think one day they're going to discover that, hey, if players wear hats, we're going to sell more hats, and then it's going to be mandatory.
Yeah, the NBA could use some better merchandising. Like, I think the jersey era, like, I'm a massive jersey guy. I probably have like 20 jerseys in my closet just at home, and then like another 20 at my parents' house still. So I'm a big jersey guy, but even I would have to acknowledge that, like, it's just not a very popular thing. Maybe if you go to a music festival or something, people will be wearing a ton of jerseys, but not many people are like, jersey culture isn't really a thing anymore in terms of like pop culture.
Were you a big sleeved jersey guy?
Did you? No, those were terrible.
Jerseys with
I was
sleeves?
Team LeBron on that, where it's just rip those suckers off, because whoever's idea it was to put those sleeves on the jersey has to be fired.
I was a
like,
guy that used to work for the Warriors. Oh, I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, he was the one.
It was his idea.
Yeah, he was the one that came up with
light
that
years
idea.
ahead. Get out of here, man. Come on. Like, clearly, as somebody
He's
who's
not there
never
anymore.
played
He
basketball.
retired.
No, he retired before he can get fired, because that's
Chris Welch.
Oh, I thought you were going to Chris Watkins or
I
something.
think it was
I
a
don't
Chris.
know.
Now
Yeah.
that I think, anyway,
Only
yeah.
Chris I don't like then. Chris
Uh-huh.
Welsh. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
they did not
They
work
should have
out.
made them like T-shirts, and then because people wear T-shirts, but
Yeah.
those NBA jerseys with sleeves
Yeah,
are
like
so
the mesh
tight.
and no, it's
yeah.
and you're leaving out the fact that they just look terrible. Like, they were terrible in general, and they weren't jerseys. I don't know what you would call them, but they were not it.
Yeah. Before we get to LeBron and why he's mad at Coach Malone, the other trade, of course, as you probably heard by now, the Pacers and the Kings are said to be very close to completing a deal that's going to send draft capital to the Indiana Pacers for Chris Duarte.
Yes, Chris Duarte. So that'll be interesting, and hopefully he can return to his rookie year production again. 13 points per game, 36% from three. That's the kind of player the Kings can really use. I think we'll probably see him. Like, do you think this is a Terrence Davis replacement potentially? Like, that kind of role?
Terrence Davis to me is more of an X factor. Like, some nights you're going to get an offensive explosion.
Yeah.
Some nights you're going to get terrible defense. And
Game
Duarte
7.
is more like you're going to get more down the middle every night, most likely.
Do you think he plays ever? I mean, obviously, again, a lot needs to
I
be
think that's
shaken
the
out.
plan.
But I think
guess
so,
would be,
right?
yeah, he'll have a chance.
Yeah, he'll be in the rotation, I would imagine. And I like to see the Kings expanding that rotation. I mean, now, if they can have Fox and Herter, Malik, you have Davion, you've got Keegan, you've got Barnes, you've got Sasha, you've got Sabonis. Can Kessler Edwards crack the rotation? Can Chris Duarte crack the rotation? To me, it looks like the Kings, even as it stands right now, have like 9 or 10 guys that they can roll out there and feel pretty good about.
Mm-hmm. The Kings have to take this into account next year when the season starts. LeBron James is going to be very fired up. He's going to be very motivated because of some things that Michael Malone said. While on the Pat McAfee show, the coach poked fun at LeBron's retirement talk. Yeah, when he was on this podcast, Michael Malone said, "Speaking of the Lakers, I just want you guys to know this is breaking news. I'm thinking about retiring, so don't tell anybody." And LeBron didn't like that.
I mean,
hey, we run this
That's probably what he didn't like. That's probably really what LeBron didn't like, is the fact that Mike Malone is feeling good about himself and LeBron feels slighted. But I think Mike Malone is totally in his right. I'm sorry, I keep calling him Mike. I'm sorry, careful. Michael.
Be careful.
Michael Malone, I think, is right in bashing Braun, because honestly, like it was a pretty cheap move. Like, come on, LeBron. Like everybody knows that you weren't retiring at the end of that, and that was clearly your way of trying to steal headlines, even if it was just for the night. It was cheap, man. Like, and he's done that before. If we all remember, LeBron mysteriously showing up with a hand cast after the Warriors series. Is that correct? Yeah, after the Warriors series, after they lost to KD and the Warriors. Like, he's done this before. He tries to steal the narrative back into his favor, so people talk about him instead of his team falling. It's a classic Braun move, but he deserves to be called out for it.
According to this report, LeBron's frustration towards Malone also stems from his comments, the coach's comments about how the Lakers get too much media attention.
Oh, absolutely.
And LeBron feels that if Malone, he feels like Malone took cheap shots at him throughout their championship run.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
A source says in conversations with people, I can tell you that LeBron was very upset with what Michael Malone said about him. From folks I've spoken with, that he is one of the many motivators going into this season. You saw what LeBron posted on Instagram? Did you see that? You must have seen this.
I did not, no.
In Europe for the last few weeks, minding my own business, and I hear I'm on your mind that much, huh? I mean, I guess I see why, but wave the flag on these lames. Please make being a player cool again, because the lame machine is at an all-time high. Enjoy your light, but just know I'm the sun.
Oh my goodness.
Stay on forever.
Oh my gosh. A little bit of narcissism there, huh? Wow. I am the sun. I am the sun is a crazy thing to say about yourself. That is a wild thing to say about yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you are LeBron James.
LeBron James, I think we can find it. LeBron James said this on Instagram.
That's an insanely narcissistic thing to say about yourself. I am the sun, as if everything literally revolves around
I give life to
me.
all on earth. I am the sun.
Wild.
We will, because Chris Verlade questions it, we will seek to confirm this, but this is, I saw the post. I guess it's possible.
I'm a LeBron stan, and that's crazy. That's a wild thing. That is just like, I honestly, like, I don't know why I can't believe that he said that, but like, I kind of can't believe that he said that. That's incredible. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I guess
confirm that.
I guess to some extent, like, when you've played 20 years in the league and you're pushing 40, like, you need some sort of, like, we heard in The Last Dance, Jordan kind of would just create narratives to try and fuel him.
That's the most LeBronist statement anyone could ever make.
That's incredible. I am the sun is wild. I want to get a shirt that says I am the, that is,
I am the sun.
We are witness.
Stay on forever.
I stay on forever is very corny. So that's how I know that LeBron actually said that.
Chris Verlade is seeking to verify this.
Gosh.
I mean, it looks like it's true.
Yes, it does. Yeah. We're coming back with the national media taking aim at the Kings after the HB deal. It's next, Chris and company. We are the sun. We're on forever on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports is your source for the 49ers.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful.
Did that leave a bitter taste in your mouth?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Me and Kyle had a long meeting the other day. We watched tape. We talked about it. We put it behind us. And just going through the tape and just look how sluggish and like how bad it looked on tape. Like I said, just reflecting on last offseason, it kind of played a big role in that. I'll never put nothing like that back on tape again.
Tune into Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for the latest 49ers offseason developments.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
There's a right way and a wrong way to fight off mosquitoes. Karate chopping the air in a public place in front of your kids and their friends, Mom, is the wrong way. Using Stem mosquito repellent is the right way. Stem effectively repels mosquitoes by harnessing active ingredients found in plants like lemongrass and peppermint, making it safe for use as directed around people and pets. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science, and embarrassment-free.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
The Gold Rush Classic, where the stars and guitars shine. The Gold Rush Classic is a celebrity pro-am golf tournament, $1 million hole-in-one contest, a celebrity draft party, and a concert on July 13th and 14th in Rancho Murrieta. The Gold Rush Classic Stars and Guitars concert is Friday, July 14th, featuring Atlanta Rhythm Section and Skin and Leonard. Enjoy the smooth southern sounds of Atlanta Rhythm Section with their award-winning hits. Spooky, So Into You, Champagne Jam, Imaginary Lover, and more. 2 bands, 1 great night of Southern rock the way you remember. Enjoy an evening of Southern rock under the stars, lakeside at Rancho Murrieta's beautiful amphitheater. Tickets are available through goldrushclassic.org or through Eventbrite. Atlanta Rhythm Section, Friday, July 14th in Rancho Murrieta. For tickets or sponsorship information, go to goldrushclassic.org. Sponsored by Sheldon Inn and Adkins Family Vineyards.
Hello, Sacramento. Doug Christie here, and I have something to share. Recently, I asked myself to determine the one most indispensable thing I use to do my job, the one I couldn't do without. The winner, forget the phone, which I live on, and the video editor, which makes my life understandable. The winner was the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. Yes, the one I tell you about each week keeps me going comfortably supported, pain relieved, and vital. So it strikes me that if Good Feet is the most important go-to tool to relieve pain or just keep me going, shouldn't you give it a try? I think so. Come to the Good Feet store today for a free, no obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk. Experience the comfort, balance, and support of the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside to Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Oh, yeah.
We got to 100 likes, so you know what that means. It's time for Chris Verlade with your Sactown Sports Chill headlines. Today at 3 p.m., NBA teams are allowed to officially start negotiating with free agents. The Kings are already rumored to have made some moves before that.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, news broke that Harrison Barnes will be returning with the Kings on a 3-year, $54 million contract.
He back.
Today's The Athletics. Shams Charania.
Shami.
He reported that the Kings are nearing a trade to get guard Chris Duarte for draft compensation from the Indiana Pacers.
40 seconds.
For more on today's NBA free agency news, make sure to stay locked in on Sactown Sports, SactownSports.com, Let's go back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Thank you, Chris, for that.
Woo. Man,
Very nice.
150 and we get another one.
Very, very cool on a hot Sacramento day.
Oh, very much.
Am I right? Am I
much
right?
needed.
Yeah.
Much needed a cool
You
update.
need 150 to get
150 to get another
That's
one.
not going to happen.
Probably not. That one I probably might have shot for the stars on that one. But you know what? I would love to be proven wrong. I haven't been wrong before on this station, so I would love at least once to say like, oh yeah, that one time I was wrong. So if we can get it up to 150, then man.
Welcome to NBA Free Agency Day, tipping off at 3. We've been talking about so many things here, so many players. Terrence Davis's name came up, and I said I thought that Duarte is going to be more consistent than Terrence Davis. Grumpy, let's see,
aptly named
Grumpy King disagrees with me. He thinks that Terrence Davis played with a lot of heart on defense. I will tell you this, Grumpy King, Jerry Reynolds really liked Terrence Davis. And I mentioned that because I want to, give you your props. Also, I want to let everyone know that Jerry Reynolds is going to join us at 1:00 today.
Ooh,
great Jerry Reynolds.
Love that. Yeah.
Discuss, among other things, the Kings, Harrison Barnes agreeing to a $54 million extension.
Million.
Yes. $54 million.
Yes. And,
Hello,
well-deserved.
Scott.
Well-deserved.
What's
from
up,
HB.
sport? Hello, Scott Pollard. What's up, sport?
What's that?
Huh?
What is the Scott Pollard reference coming
What's
from?
this? Dr. Evil's son was Scott.
Oh,
so I just went
there you
Scott
go,
Pollard.
Scott Pollard. Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Would you be surprised if I told you I've never actually seen that movie?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That explains that.
Yep. I'm sorry. I'm 0% helpful with anything.
No worries.
Movie references.
No worries.
Chris is your guy. Though.
We're on to Cincinnati here. Because not only are some Kings fans underwhelmed by the Harrison Barnes news, some of these members of the national media, I think they were taking shots at the Kings. This is from The Athletic. The disaster of the summer of 2015.
Oh, my goodness.
Should ring a bell for Kings fans.
Okay.
When the team dumped Stauskas, Jason Thompson, and Carl Landry to the Sixers, along with a first-round pick and 2-pick swaps to get space. That ended with the team signing Rajon Rondo, Marco Bellinelli, and Costa Koufos after missing out on a couple of targets. It says the Kings are in a much better place now, but on some level, this grade is incomplete until we know how successful they are in this pursuit. That grade, by the way, was grading the Kings draft, and I think they gave them a B-, but they said it all depends on what happens here because of the way free agency with the Kings is connected to the draft because they traded away their first-round pick.
Right.
So that was The Athletic.
I really hate to hear about that 2015 trade. That was one of those things that was absolutely horrible at the time. It's
and unnecessary.
Yes, it was the crowning. What's the opposite of an achievement? Whatever the opposite of an achievement was, that was the crowning moment of Vlade Divac's GM career.
Failure?
Failure.
Failure?
Sure, we'll say that. Crowning failure of Vlade Divac's career as a GM was just a trade that made no sense at all. They did need to dump Jason Thompson's salary. It was way too much, as well as Carl Landry's. But
use the stretch provision.
Yeah, they could have. They definitely could have. That's what a GM with any sort of GM-ness would have done.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me, we don't need to revisit all that.
Let's not.
But it's interesting that a member of the national media would go, this is kind of like that.
Not really. Not quite.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't really see the parallel in that. Like we mentioned earlier, the first round pick having to attach that in order to get rid of Rashawn's contract, not great, but it is not as not nearly, not even close as backbreaking as the Kings pick swap situation, and which I believe is actually the reason why the Kings got Fox at 5, if I'm not mistaken. They had a pick swap with Philadelphia that year. Philly had the number 3 pick and then moved up to number 1 with Boston. If I'm not, I think I have that right. So Kings actually did.
So
get
they could
the,
take Markelle Fultz,
right?
And Danny Ainge, you wanted Tatum
Tatum
all
the
along.
entire time. He was like,
all right, you can have the first pick.
I guess. Yeah. You really want? Oh, you're going to take Markelle from us? Oh no. Well, I guess we'll just take Jason
And then
Tatum.
for doing that swap, the Celtics got a second pick as well. Do you know who that ended up being? Romeo Langford.
Oh, well, sometimes you swing and you hit. Sometimes.
Yeah, but they certainly hit on Tatum.
Absolutely.
And I mentioned this earlier, Justin Verrier, with the Ringer, He said he compared this to the Kings.
It's just not. Like this is they're not even close to King's moves right now.
If the Kings follow up this move by merely bringing back Trey Lyles and or renegotiating and extending Domantas Sabonis' deal, the warm fuzzies about the Kings revival might give way to that old queasy Kings feeling, end quote.
Maybe feeling. Okay, I didn't hear Kang's feeling. I think that some fans are feeling that. And if, as Justin mentions, if this is just followed by essentially a running it back moves, then yeah, I think people are going to feel like, oh, this is the same old Kings, like having an opportunity to get better, but just settling for whatever. And, you know,
cap space, they open it up, and then they end up with nothing.
I just don't think that that's Kangs. To me, Kangs is doing the worst possible thing at every single turn. And I just think Monty's been very calculated, and I have not felt like anything has been rash or random. Everything seems to make sense. Nothing you really have to, you know, really hyper explain in order for it to make sense. Everything has been on a good track, and something tells me that there's still one or two moves that are left to be done here for Sacramento, including bringing Trey Lyles back and bringing Sasha over. I think there's still some room for things to happen here.
Kings is making a bad move, and it's somehow turning out worse than you thought
yes.
it would be.
Yeah, right.
And
or even good moves like Marco Bellinelli.
Isn't it also making a bad move when you really have no idea what you're doing, and that's part of the problem?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like bringing in George Karl and, you know, even the Rondo. And there's been a lot of things, that just are like, why extending Jason Thompson to that contract? There's been many things that are just like, why this doesn't even make sense.
Kangs was like a virus, and Monty had the vaccination for it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he hasn't, I don't want to say he hasn't missed yet, but I mean, even his misses, like the biggest miss I can think from Monty, I mean, you could argue he didn't do well with the Bogdanovich sign and trade situation.
It was signing Holmes to that big deal that you had to trade a first-round pick to get out from under.
In hindsight, yeah, but even signing Holmes to that deal initially wasn't bad. It was the subsequent move of trading for Sabonis, then making that Holmes contract bad. So even the signing of Rashawn wasn't the bad move. If you want to say anything was the bad move, it was bringing in a guy who then led to that move being completely, useless, essentially. And, I would say Monty's worst move is randomly trading DeLon Wright for Tristan Thompson, and we got just about nothing out of Tristan Thompson. And I actually think DeLon Wright would be a really good backup point guard or a third-string guard. But, if that's what we're talking about is Monty's big crushing move that crippled the franchise, then I think I can live with that.
Yeah. I have a friend who is covers the league. He covers the Warriors, and about Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson got picked up by the Lakers last year.
He did. Yeah.
And my friend was at the game, one of the playoff games, and late in the game, now into the game, Tristan Thompson. My friend was like, wait, what? He didn't know. What?
You mean the guy on ESPN? He was
Tristan Thompson's on the Lakers? When did that
Yeah,
happen?
he just did the second segment on on NBA Today 20 minutes ago, and now he's suiting up for the Lakers tonight. I know it's just, the ESPN zone's right across the street, but seemed a little extreme, and I was shocked. I mean, and they played Tristan Thompson a lot in that game 4 against Denver when they were really throwing everything out there. It felt like they were just like, Tristan, can you go beat up Nikola Jokic for 6 fouls, please, just to do something?
You know why ultimately the Lakers picked up Tristan Thompson?
Because he's friends with LeBron James.
And LeBron James is what?
The son.
He is the son.
The son.
He's always on.
He's always on.
Who at Sactown Sports is most likely to say, I am the son, I'm always on?
Who's most likely to say it?
You can match Chris Verlaud's answer.
It's Simone. Am I wrong?
Chris Verlaud said it was Carmichael Dave.
No, Dave wouldn't. Yeah. Dave wouldn't say that.
Yeah,
Dave might think it. Dave's not saying it.
No, he would do that.
I don't think so.
I tend to agree with Chris Verlaud that Carmichael Dave.
I feel like even Simone would agree that Simone.
I'm always on.
Simone's still in there. Simone, would you not say that you were the son? That feels like
I'm
Simone.
the son?
Yes.
That's very sweet of you.
See, and she thinks it's a compliment.
Oh, okay, never mind. Bye.
No, I mean it's not a knock. It's just LeBron.
Sorry, I was working on something back here, so I'm totally dropping in.
Would you say it about yourself?
that I am the sun.
Yes.
That you are always on. I am the sun.
Yes, I would.
See, told you. And I'm right.
Well
And
played.
everything rotates around Simone.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
All right.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, Simone is the center of our universe.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you're right.
I'm right.
Rod's
Like I said,
Yeah.
hopefully I'm wrong about this like count, but 115 it's sitting at right now.
Coming up,
Little
who's
lonely.
out there now for the Kings and why Sabonis makes the Duarte trade worth it for the Kings. That's next on Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Get all the latest 49ers news heading into the 2023 season on Sactown Sports.
I think Brock was smart, and we kind of facilitated that he met with a bunch of different surgeons. The hope is he's ready for the regular season. We'll take it as it comes, as we're doing. He's working incredibly hard, and the early returns are really good.
Sactown Sports, Sacramento's official home for 49ers football.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, a Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Finally, the 4th of July sales event is here. Chad, what's going on at Hoblet?
Right now, you can lease a new 2023 Jeep Wrangler Sahara 4xe for only $379 a month for 36 months with $49.95 due at signing. That's a savings of up to $13,500, or you can save up to $92.50 off MSRP, plus get $37.50 in federal tax credits for a total savings of over $13,000.
So whether I lease or buy the new 2023 Jeep Wrangler Sahara 4xe, I can save up to $13,000 or more?
Yeah, and now the only decision is which one you want, because we have a great selection of Wrangler 4xes with over 50 available.
Hey, find your perfect vehicle now when you search, select, and save at HobletDodge.com.
$13,500 in total net savings after $11,000 factory rebates and $2,500 dealer discount. Rebates include $7,500 federal tax credit, $3,000 carb rebate, and $500 California bonus cash. Must be California resident qualified. 36-month lease term, $49.95 cash due at signing, plus tax, license, and accessories on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. 25 cents per mile charge of over 10,000 miles per year. $92.50 total net savings after $57.50 factory rebates and $4,000 dealer discount. Plus optional $37.50 tax credit may apply for buyers who meet current federal tax standards only. Subject to change. See your CPA for qualifications. For California residents only, 5 weeks net savings. See dealer for details.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
From Steve Watson on the YouTube chat. Thanks for being with us on YouTube. I don't think you're going to get as many likes as you're hoping for, but we've had a good day in that
I don't
regard.
think so. It's been a great day.
Yeah. Steve Watson says, nope. If they don't make a splash, they will be the same old, he says, clangs.
Clangs, okay.
They have to strike while the iron is hot, ! That's how a lot of people feel. You've got this cap space. You have to do something about it. When are you going to have cap space again?
People. Good people.
What are
Good
you
people out
eating?
there. Good people out there. Nice little cracker cheese combo with some apples.
Nicely played.
Yeah. Just trying to get some good energy.
Adult
food.
Lunchable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is,
Wow.
Chris. It's exactly what it is,
That's
honestly.
also well played.
The free agent market is not nice. Like I'm not a fan of the guys out there, and just because you have the money does not mean you have to go out there and just spend it frivolously on the biggest name out there just because you can.
That would be a Kangs thing.
That
We've got
would
this
be a
money.
Kangs thing.
Who's out there? Nobody. Well, we got to spend it on somebody.
That's old stuff. I think that's you're right. That would be the Kangs move. To me, moving methodically, not rushing to, oh my gosh, let's make sure we get Kyle Kuzma. So let's pay him $4 million more than what anybody even thinks just to make sure that we get him. That's Kang's move. Kang's move would be, we really want Cam Johnson. We're going to throw all of our chips into Cam Johnson, and then you're going to wait 3 days. You're going to miss out on everybody, and then you get nobody.
Kang's move, in my opinion, tell me what you think, please, would have been to go out, spend a lot of money, and bring in former MVP
Oh my gosh.
Russell Westbrook. Am I right?
Oh my gosh.
Would that not have been a Kang's move?
It would have been a Maloof Kang's move for sure, just to sell tickets. And you know what? Honestly, I think if the team wouldn't have made the playoffs last year, I could see something like, he's got experience. He's a depreciating asset, but we think that we can still squeeze something out of him. He'll bring star power. He averaged a triple-double twice in the regular season.
Makes us relevant again.
Exactly. And it's that would have been a very, very Kang's move. That would have been like Rondo-esque too. And I think people probably would have felt good about his time here. And in reality, it wouldn't have
I suggest that because I know you just said you're watching ESPN. Of course, we're monitoring everything.
Yes.
And they had a graphic that said NBA free agency starts today, and they had 3 names listed.
Yes.
Brooke Lopez, Fred VanVleet, and
Russell Westbrook.
Oh,
yeah.
my
So
goodness.
just
So there
on the
you go.
ticker, that's
That
boy's looking like
Frederico. Yeah, it's that's the class that we're dealing with right now. Is ESPN's headlining marquee is make sure you tune in at 3:00 for our free agency special. Where will Brooke Lopez land? Fred VanVleet to Houston? Russell Westbrook literally anywhere? Find out next. Like that's unfortunately the class of free agents that we're dealing with. It seems like Chris Middleton's probably heading back to Milwaukee. Seems like Harden he opted into his deal, so that's going to be a trade. And we talked earlier, who knows when that trade is actually going to go through.
I think Brooke Lopez is going to stay also.
You think so? I mean, yeah, it seemed like yesterday the reports were saying that they were leaning in that direction. I really think Houston's going to throw a lot of money at a couple people. There was rumors it was Fred VanVleet. There's been rumors in the past that it was Brooke Lopez. I think they were also connected to Kyle Kuzma as well. So
Dylan Brooks
as well. I'm really curious to see what that number looks like. I'm excited. I'm excited for this 3:00 deadline just to see who were the priority free agents as well. Like, is it going to be are we going to see Middleton right at the deadline or right at what do I call this? I keep calling it the deadline. I guess it's free agency's beginning, tipping off, if you will. Once that happens,
The start
of free agency. How about that? What happens? Who are the priority guys? And, was any of the rumors true that we heard? Because I do feel like we always forget every year that there's this massive rumor mill of, oh, this person's going here and this person's going here. And then it ends up all being for nothing. And they either go to a team that wasn't even mentioned or they just return back home. Like, I mean, Harrison Barnes had so much interest in Dallas and Indiana. We were hearing nothing really about his interest in staying in Sacramento. Just like that, it materializes pretty much in the course of 24 hours and a deal gets done. So who will be that? And also, what are the pivot points going to be? Is Houston going to go all in for a couple people and then find out that nobody wants to go to that organization? And then where do they go? What does San Antonio do with free agency? They have a ton of money. Do they go after Fred VanVleet? It's all going to be interesting. And again, I'm really excited to see what are the moves that we don't see coming even right now.
I think if the Kings end up making any more moves, they're probably going to be lesser moves, but well thought out, shrewd acquisitions of players that are going to underwhelm a lot of fans. They still could make a move for someone like Bruce Brown. I know we both love Bruce Brown. He's probably going to get more money, maybe even a chance to start somewhere else.
Yeah.
Which the Kings are not going to. I'm sorry, coach. That's what we're looking at. I mean, if the Pacers say, here's more money than you ever made and you can start.
Right.
Well,
he's not going to turn that down.
Depending on, unless there's something else he really wants.
He really loves LeBron.
Want to stay there. Maybe he would re-up with Denver and then hope that he
Why are you even going to put that out in the universe, Chris?
Maybe he really loves LeBron. I'm just saying. He is the son.
Yes, he is.
People are attracted to the son.
Lakers are interested.
And maybe he wants to stick it to Mike Malone. Maybe he's like, Michael. God, I'm so sorry, Michael. Maybe he's like, Michael Malone stood up on stage and trying to guilt trip me almost into staying here in Denver. I'm gonna go over with LeBron. Maybe we both have beef with Michael Malone. I doubt it, but I don't want to see that. If Bruce Brown goes to the Lakers, that's going to be one of the hardest reconciliations I'll have to have because I really love Bruce Brown, the player, and obviously really hate the Lakers, and that would take a lot of wrestling for me.
By the way, one of the names that you've mentioned a couple times, I believe he is an unrestricted free agent. Robin Lopez.
I thought you were going to say Torrey Craig.
Torrey Craig also.
Love Robin Lopez. Again, I do not discriminate when it comes to my Lopez.
Hayes.
I'm out on Jackson Hayes. Okay. I don't like the person of Jackson.
Yuta Watanabe.
Love Yuta Watanabe.
Oh
my gosh. Yuta Watanabe would be a perfect. You could probably get him at the vet minimum, $1 to $2 million. Provides great size. Was incredible from the corners last year. Mm-hmm. That would be somebody who's a really incredibly under the radar signing that I think people would love here. I mean, last year in Brooklyn was just super versatile, good defender. I think he's listed at 6'9" these days. Really big, really long. I would love Yuta and Robin Lopez. Sign me
I want Utah to go to the Jazz, and then Utah's on Utah.
Ooh,
that's what I'm.
That
hoping
would
for,
be.
but that's
Some people
me.
just like to see the world burn. That is crazy. That would be. Utah and Utah would be. You can definitely sell some shirts there.
Ayo Dosunmu, as you're looking down the list of guys that would be considered lesser free agents.
So
Hey, bring back George Hill.
I'm going to ask you a question that I've been asking mainly, but if the Kings were to bring in a third, playmaker, ball handler, who are some names that you would like out there? Because that's something that I was really struggling with. As I said, like, it's a kind of a lot easier said than done to just find that somebody who's understands that they're probably going to be the third point guard and would accept that role. There's really not too many names out there.
Raul Neto.
Okay. Yeah. He's okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're talking about, right?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's going to have to be, again, people who are aware that they're probably a third guard and okay with being that.
Daishen Nix. I mean, I think we're talking about somebody like that.
I don't like that. I will say I don't. I do. And I think that those are probably going to be around the names that
DJ Augustine.
DJ Augustine's like a really solid veteran. That's kind of almost like a Matthew Dellavedova-esque signing where he's probably got a couple games left in him, but he's definitely not somebody you're going to want to throw out there 80 games a year. There's just not many like
Banton.
I really like him. Yeah, I don't know if the Kings would, but I would really like a guy like that. Corey Joseph, as much as I hate to say
I
it.
saw him and I wasn't even going to mention that.
I did not enjoy the Corey Joseph stint here. But again, if he's going to be your third point guard, maybe that's not super terrible. Reggie Jackson, somebody who got pretty much no minutes in Denver after he got traded over there.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah. My big hope is Trey Jones, but that would obviously he's way overqualified to be a backup guard. So those are kind of the names that I'm like. Javon Carter as well. I just don't know if that's really an improvement over Davion at all. Patrick Beverly's out there too.
So you're looking for someone who would supplant Davion as the backup.
I mean, if I could be honest for a second,
why not? It's Friday. It's a holiday
you know what?
weekend.
You're right. Why not? I really kind of don't. I don't want to say don't believe in Davion as a backup point guard. I just think that he's best suited, especially offensively, as an off-ball guard, and him being 6 feet, and obviously us having Malik as well. I just think it's really tough to kind of build around that and still have minutes for Davion. So I kind of think in the long run, the Kings need to find another backup point guard, like an actual backup point guard.
I haven't given up on him yet. In my view, when he was drafted, his ceiling was as a backup guard on a really good team.
Yeah.
I think he's not there yet. I think he still could do that. I mean, we saw there were times last year, even in the playoff series, where you could see it. Wow, he'd come in and make a jump shot, and his jump shot was not what it should be. But there were times when it looked like, yes, that's it.
Yeah,
and we know how he defends. So you're right. To this point, hasn't been what they'd hoped, but I still think it's there.
I'm not willing to give up on it, but it is something that if the Kings do want to truly like compete at a high level, especially, if we're talking championships and conference championships, I just think that they're going to need a steadying backup point guard presence. And I don't think Malik Monk is ideally the guy that you want in your hands in big time situations.
Chris Paul ain't coming through that door.
Absolutely not. I don't think so. And I don't really want Chris Paul, but I would enjoy someone kind of like a modern day Chris Paul, if you will, someone who's just plays slow, methodical, and is just trying to move the ball around.
Yeah, if you got a backup point guard for Chris, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, YouTube chat. Coming back with how Sabonis makes Duarte a better acquisition, and Keegan in Summer League. Why are some people upset by that? Next, Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track, makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's finally Friday. It's the final day of June. It's going to be hot out there, so plan around the heat. Highs will reach the 100 to 103 mark with overnight lows in the upper 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. See our selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Are you ready for the ultimate 4th of July celebration? Get ready to kick off the summer in style with the hottest deals in town at Elk Grove Kia. Introducing the all-new 2023 Kia Forte GT line, a compact sedan that's turning heads everywhere. And guess what? You can drive it home for an incredible $149 per month. That's right, the Forte GT line at an unbeatable price. But wait, we've got something even bigger for you. The Kia Telluride, the hottest SUV on the market, is here with prices so low we can't even advertise it. We have 11 Tellurides available for immediate delivery. These deals are the best we've had in over 3 years, so hurry in for the best selection. Our general manager guarantees that if there's a car, SUV, or truck you're willing to take the keys for, we'll find a way to fit your budget at Elk Grove Kia today. Don't buy until you check us out at elkgrovekia.com.
2023 Kia Forte GT line 149 plus tax, 36 month lease, $49.99. Customer cash to assigning residual of $15,570.45 based on 10K per year, 20 cents per mile over, 0 security deposit required. Kia Finance Tier 1 FICO score 740 plus subject to lender approval. One of this payment GK 888-764-1747 expires 7/5/2023.
Elk Grove Kia.
Listen to Oakland A's baseball on the weekends all season long right here on Sactown Sports, beginning with the pregame show brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical pool, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Hoblet Dodge, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
It's the 4th of July Sell-a-thon at Folsom Lake Ford. All your favorite models on sale. F-150s, Explorers, Broncos in stock now. Don't miss 4th of July savings. Shop FolsomLakeFord.com, your truck headquarters.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Can't say that this close to a headline, Chris. I'm Christopher Laud with your Sactown Sports headlines. Today at 3 p.m., NBA teams are allowed to officially start to negotiate with free agents. The Kings are already rumored to have made some moves before that. Yesterday, news broke that Harrison Barnes will be returning with the Kings on a 3-year, $54 million contract. And today, the Athletics' Shams Charania is reporting that the Kings are nearing a trade to get guard Chris Duarte for draft compensation from the Indiana Pacers. For more on today's NBA free agency news, make sure to stay locked in on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Chris Duarte is going to become the newest Sacramento King, we think. We're not sure how it works out time-wise. The Kings and Pacers have all but agreed to a trade. They're nearing a trade. Then we'll see what else the Kings decide to do. But why Chris Watkins, if I'm a Kings fan? What Chris Duarte? Really? Chris Duarte? Why should I care?
I mean, he's a really good shooter in theory. I mean, he came out of college, and that was kind of his calling card, was being a shooter. Older guy as
Oregon.
Oregon, right? Yeah, we know how those Oregon shooters go in terms of Dylan Brooks being kind of the other one, and
Jordan Bell.
He's Jordan Bell as well. I forgot about the Jordan Bell Warriors era. I really thought Jordan Bell was going to be something. But Duarte is a really good. I shouldn't say really good. He's a solid player that you can bring off the bench, again, he's somebody who fits into this offense really well, is a good shooter. Definitely somebody who knows his role, isn't somebody who's just going to come out and try and get theirs. Has experience with Domantas Sabonis and apparently from everything I've read has thrived in his time with Domas, really orchestrated really good chemistry with cuts, with back cuts, with just working the Domas 2-man game that we saw so much last year with
really
Kevin
interesting
Huerter.
point that he played better with Sabonis than he did without him.
Yeah.
The Pacers.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a coincidence that his numbers looked so much different without Sabonis last year. It was a big adjustment period, and a lot of times, especially with guys like this, he's young in his career, still has time to figure things out. And I think a new situation is going to do him really well, especially with how young this Kings team is. I think he's going to fit in almost perfectly.
I'll tell you one thing: he can shoot free throws.
That's
seriously.
Great.
That
is phenomenal. No, that's seriously great because Malik Monk was really the Kings' only really good free throw shooter last year.
804 from the foul line as a rookie. Last year, 847.
How about that?
From the foul line.
That's great.
One of the things, just looking at Chris Duarte's bio and information here, one thing that stands out, you know what his nickname is? He doesn't.
Chrissy D.
He doesn't have one.
sounds
Even on
like a perfect
Basketball
opportunity.
Reference, and they give everybody a nickname.
Perfect. Clean slate.
Yeah, exactly. Completely clean slate. I'm sure we'll come up with something here in Sacramento.
Yeah. Well, I know it's not official yet, but we can go ahead and do that now on the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
You want to text us 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. It'll be hard, though, because a lot of people probably are like, I don't really know anything about him.
Yeah. We know he's Canadian. We know he speaks Spanish. We know he went to Oregon, and we know he's a shooter.
Yeah.
Do with that information as you will, and send us your best results in the comments.
Scoopty Whoop says Duarte has always looked like Halliburton to me.
All right, so this is just off the head, just like into my brain. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. I heard.
You checked it with Simone or somebody?
Not yet. Not yet. I probably should have, but with everything you just told me, Canadian, all that.
Yep.
How about Maple Forte?
I'm sorry.
Maple Forte.
Fuerte. Gonna have to help me out with that one.
Maple Fuerte,
yeah, like hot
syrup.
Yeah, like he's Canadian. He's a hot Canadian.
I don't know.
Anyway, send your suggestions to the Sactown.
Like I said, it was just straight from. I need to get the bad ideas out into the universe, so no one else is afraid to give like a bad one.
Exactly.
And he lived in Canada, but he's actually from the Dominican, right?
Yes,
so
he's from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I guess that's helpful in terms of, you establish some kind of baseline with Chris's
name. Yeah. Again,
right?
we can only go up from here. So.
But again, it appears to be, I think we could characterize this as a classic Monty McNair move.
Right. All the way down to this is a guy who spent a couple of years in college. Like, this is not a freshman, not a younger guy. He was an older rookie coming in. Is somebody who's got pedigree, is proven to actually be able to play in the NBA. Again, his rookie year averaged 13 points per game. Like, there's some track record there that you can go on and realistically tell yourself, like, this guy is a player.
He's only played in 101 games over 2 years, though.
That's really concerning. That's definitely the biggest concern. The fact that he hasn't been able to really string together a full season or anything close to that is, less than ideal. But I guess with the role that he'll be playing here in Sacramento, you would guess that, when he was in Indiana, he was playing. I mean, his rookie year, he played 30 minutes. Last year, I think he played 28 minutes. I would assume here in Sacramento, he'll probably fall somewhere near 20. Oh, he played 20 minutes last year as well in Indiana. That's kind of the role that I would expect him to have.
And he's 26. He's only played 2 years, but he's not a kid.
Yeah.
Yossi Gozlan on Twitter says the Kings now have about 15 million cap space after acquiring
15
million after acquiring Duarte, which again, we don't have confirmation that deal's done. More realistically, says Gozlan, they're working with around 12.5 when factoring the 3.4 million cap hold to Trey Lyles.
Right.
And then they would also have, he says, the 7.7 room mid-level, depending again on which way they go, which we've looked at. We looked at earlier.
And again, I would all but say that that room exception is probably going to Sasha. And I would assume, I don't know what Sasha's number is going to be, but I would guess that it's probably going to fall into that room exception. So I wouldn't even really count that as an opportunity. So what is that? 12 million to work with. You can you can hopefully squeeze 2 guys out of that.
Maybe get your DJ Augustine. I know you're hot on him.
Maybe, I think as many veterans as they can bring in, at this point, I honestly think is a really good move for Sacramento, because even still, Harrison Barnes is technically the person on this roster who has played the most playoff games. And I just think the more and more of those guys that you can bring, and guys who have been past the first round of the playoffs as well, so you can, if you do make it that far, having that internal knowledge of, okay, we need to also prepare for physically what this means, mentally, you have to go from round 1, you're scheming for one specific opponent, to maybe you're going complete polar opposite to this next opponent, kind of like what it would have been with the Warriors and the Lakers. You need someone who's been through that a lot and can help usher in the next round almost for this Kings team, who just hasn't had a lot of experience in the postseason.
By the way, Keegan in Summer League, you and I are good with that, right? I know some people are worried.
He's not going to Vegas either.
Yeah, people want him not to get hurt, of course, but he's going to be playing anyway. Yeah. At some point in the summer, he's going to be playing basketball. Yeah. He's got to play.
Keegan Murray's game also is not a very physical. He's probably just going to be running on the perimeter anyway. I don't think he'll be. I could be wrong, but I don't think Keegan Murray is going to be driving the lane or bashing into people too much in the Summer League.
So if the Kings end up through free agency with Barnes stays extension, they bring back Trey Lyles.
Sure.
They have the trade for Duarte, and they bring in Sasha. We good? We feeling
I need something else. I think
there's nothing else major they can do.
Not major, definitely not major. And I was never, Brook Lopez was about to be as major as I was going to be. Bruce Brown was about as major as I can be. At this point, I'm totally okay with just, again, filling out the edges, making sure that you have depth pieces, making sure you can throw different looks out there at people. I don't think they necessarily at this point need to swing for the fences. It's just about making sure that all your gaps are as covered and as full as they could.
You could also add Colby Jones, but and Slauson
as well. Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, it looks like there's a really good chance that's what they do.
I think they still need a backup big.
Fringe moves thrown in there as well.
I think the fringe moves is going to be the key. And, I think fringe moves I think they might look fringe now, but I think that there's potential that they can still add people that will play a very significant role. Again, they need somebody. They have to bring in somebody to be the backup center, unless that's the plan with Trey Lyles going into this year. Maybe they'll lean a little bit more into
and you
Trey
want Jackson Hayes, right?
I do not want Jackson Hayes.
Okay.
Do not want Jackson Hayes.
He's available.
He is available. He's just not a fan of Jackson Hayes.
Somebody on the YouTube chat says, well, Brook Lopez is better than Robin.
I
know that.
I am aware.
Yes. I am aware of that.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to be in position to be able to afford Brook Lopez at this point, even if he had any interest in coming. I don't even know if they have room for Robin at this point, but I think they might.
Yeah. No, Brook Lopez is just going to be too expensive. And I really like Robin Lopez coming in. He obviously is not the talent that Brook Lopez is, but still provides, as they're twins, similar size or the same size, still does bring a physical presence down low, but that's kind of it. He's just more of a down low traditional big man, as opposed to Brook, who can spread it out a little more, is a little bit more mobile as well. But I think Robin would be a good minute eater, and somebody who I think realistically could play 10 minutes a game and not kill you.
That could be pretty much it. Those could be your moves.
I wouldn't hate it. Again, are the Kings going to be competing with, the top end of the league with that? Probably not. But I think there's going to be success next year with this team that they currently have. And I think that's really important. Again, making sure that the Kings don't just slip right back into their losing ways. To me, this is just a solidifying that the Kings will at least be, good next season. They're going to have a shot. They might not be a 3 seed, but they're going to compete for that 6 to 6-4, maybe even spot in the West. And, who knows? Maybe injury luck does go the Kings' way again, and they can sneak into that top 3.
And I think they are assuming that Keegan is going to continue
He's
to
going to take a
improve,
jump.
and they love his upside.
Yeah.
And he was hurt last year.
He was, right.
The whole thing is,
as was Sabonis.
You and your Jackson Hayes fascination. That's
You're going to get me in trouble.
I don't quite understand that, but that's fine. I don't need to.
Thanks.
Jerry's going to join us top of the hour. Up next, reality comes home to roost for Kyrie and the Beard. Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
The Kings season might be over, but Sactown Sports coverage never stops.
It's probably one of the best starting points I could have had starting in the NBA, Sacramento.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, movie fans, the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento is now serving adult beverages. Playing this week, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the IMAX experience.
I've been looking for this all my life.
Give them hell, Indiana Jones.
See Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny on the largest screen in Sacramento. Getting tickets is easy. Visit IMAX.com/Sacramento for showtimes and reserved seating. Plus, join the free IMAX Directors Club for special member pricing on tickets and concession items each time you visit the Esquire IMAX Theater.
So I'm a public school teacher and I'm on my feet all day long. That would be on concrete. The pain would shoot up my heels and just increased from the bottom of my feet up. Then my back started hurting. So my husband and I were driving and I went, oh, look, there's a Good Feet store. I'm greeted by this gal named Mercy. That was a perfect name for her. And the cool thing about the Good Feet store is that you're able to try before you buy. I had free fittings. She was able to fit me with special arch supports. And so I walked around in the store. Within 30 minutes, I started sobbing because I had no pain. Well, if your feet are hurting, do something about it. You don't have to grin and bear it. you need to go to the Good Feet store and get some arch supports. I'm Deidre, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how they work for you with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia during the Kia Summer Sales Event. Trade up to all the newest technology and an industry-leading warranty. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Things going to heat up today in NBA free agency about 3 o'clock. And, of course, it's already very, very hot. Hope you have some big 4th of July holiday plans. I just want to give a little public service announcement about being cautious. And I know normally this time of year, those types of things have to do with fireworks and stuff. And that's all. Yeah, that's, it's all well and good. But I want to warn you about something else, Chris. If you're going to be in the pool at all this weekend, I was a couple years ago in the pool at home, and I think my wife's in the pool, and one of our daughters is swimming, and we got people around, and we're shooting baskets.
Oh, nothing better.
Yeah,
nothing.
You got
better.
the
hoop.
Yeah, the hoop, the swim pool hoop there. And
is it in the pool or is it outside of the
pool? It's just outside the pool.
Okay, that's the best one.
Yeah,
best
the
kind.
big white backboard. And,
10 out of 10.
Little mini basketballs. They're real basketballs, just smaller. Yeah. And so you swim around, and then I'm shooting, and I like to every so often, like you get a little tired, take one of the basketballs and use it as a flotation device.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, totally normal.
So the thing you have to be careful of.
I got an idea.
Yeah. When it's really, really hot, there are creatures that are looking for water. And sometimes they'll get in the water and get stuck, and then they'll crawl on the basketball. And you got to check before you sit on a basketball. For example, I did this one year, and I take the basketball and I sit on it, and I realize, I think there was a bee on the basketball.
Okay.
And I get out, and it's like,
yep.
You know,
he got you.
Pull the stinger out from the ITA inner thigh area, and I mean, it felt like someone took a pair of pliers and pinched me there and just wouldn't let go. You get the stinger out, and it's like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I got stung there, but it wouldn't stop hurting.
Oh,
it just was like, "Ow!" Oh,
noted.
So,
gotcha.
And I'm sure it was worse for the bee. So
yeah, I mean, the bee got drowned and then was like in a moment of desperation was like, maybe I can sting this guy to get him.
I'll sting him, but I'm still going to drown. So it wasn't a great day for the bee either. But just be careful. I just thought, man, I probably should have checked that.
Yes. Yeah. I thought that was going to end with like a gator or something coming in your pool. I just want a PSA announcement, look out for gators before you go into the pool. They like to just, they'll swim to the bottom and you won't see them until you're down there. And at that point, it's too late.
JR says stingers up. That's a good one. Good.
Okay. JR.
Here's where we think the Kings are. So Harrison Barnes.
That's a good one. That got me.
Harrison Barnes has an extension. They are close to the trade for Duarte. Presumably, they are going to bring Sasha Vezenkov over, working on that.
Hopefully Trey as well.
Yeah. And then to keep Trey Lyles. And then maybe there's room for a backup center. That's where it looks like this is headed.
That's what it
could be some surprises. Some of these things could fall through, leading to other options. That's where it appears we are. As far as backup centers, Willie Bowen says, I wouldn't mind seeing Willie Cauley-Stein or Boban with the Kings. I probably shouldn't even have read that, huh?
No, we probably shouldn't.
If you're not going to take this seriously, why am I even here?
I would love Boban just for the hilarity of it. Like, he just seems like a great time, and Chris can probably get his autograph, get his John Wick poster signed or something. I don't know.
Here's your mustard. Yeah.
I only have one person from the John Wick cast to get an autograph from.
Common?
Kevin Nash.
Don't know
the former professional wrestler.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah. I could I think that there's some decent backup center options. But to me, I mean, I just think that's the most important thing that the Kings have to address this offseason. There's no way that it could be a problem for the entirety of last year. They didn't address it at the deadline when that was the main focus, the main priority. They get killed on the offensive glass in the playoffs. If they just don't address that need, that's a little alarming to me. That's where I'm like, all right, maybe Monty might have messed up this offseason, but as it stands right now, I'm in a wait and see mode. I think.
What about bringing back Alex Len? Excuse me.
That's not it. No, that's not it. Bringing back Alex Len is not it. I mean, it took 75 games for them to even go to Alex Len in the first place. And then they thought they had a little bit something there. And then they played him for 3 games in the playoffs and quickly realized that wasn't going to be a long-term solution. So, I have no problem bringing back somebody like Alex Len. They can even bring back Alex Len as like the third center. But if that's going to be the main option that you go to when you don't have Domantas Sabonis on the floor, I'm just not a fan of that. And frankly, I mean, I'm looking at the backup bigs right now. It's not a very good list. You have Brook Lopez, and that's kind of the theme of this free agent pool. Brook Lopez, Jakob Poeltl, you assume is probably going to head back to Toronto. I've heard really no whispers on his free agency. Christian Wood is a name that, you look at his stats and you might think a certain thing. I'm not a massive Christian Wood guy, but I'd be willing to accept it.
Skills. Again, I'm sorry for interrupting, but it was weird why he didn't play more last year.
You would think, and that's, he's never been in really a winning situation either. He seems like a kind of guy who, every team that has him doesn't seem to want him regardless of the number he puts up. And those guys are always really just red flags to me. I'm out.
Dallas and Detroit
and Houston as well. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I forgot about the Houston stint as well. But
yeah.
So he's been in a couple places and hasn't found a home. So I don't know if Sacramento as a backup big would be the option. But Mason Plumlee is a name I've thrown out there. Dwight Powell's okay. He's a little bit undersized for a center. Thomas Bryant has become the new Naz Reid for Kings fans, apparently, in our comments. I feel like I've seen Thomas Bryant's name come up more than any other name.
My understanding is he does not defend well, and I just can't have – I got enough problems as it is.
Exactly.
Without having a backup who can't protect
the rim,
basket or defend his man.
Pretty much what you need from the backup center, especially behind Domas as well. Is like if you're going to bring somebody in, they might as well be a rim protector, something that you don't have at all.
What I was going to say about Kyrie and Harden, I think it's interesting that both these guys, you got Kyrie now, and he's saying, I'm going to meet with the Suns. And people are like, well, they can't go ahead. Yeah. You can meet with whoever you want. And then Harden opting in because he's going to now hope that the Sixers trade him somewhere where he wants to go. It just seems to me that for both these guys, reality is coming home to roost. And that is, if you have a contract, you can't just play for whoever you want to play for. Right?
That's not how it works.
Kyrie is a free agent. I get that. Yeah. But even then, people only have so much money to give you.
So much money,
and
right?
These guys that's what they've been doing, right? Oh, we're going to go there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go there. I'm going to go play for that team.
Right. And
I won off of this team and on that team. And now it's like, okay, well, the game's over now.
Right.
You can't do that anymore.
I think this James Harden situation might be the end of that, because I truly do think that James, for whatever reason, is under the assumption, maybe it's because he has the previous relationship with Daryl Morey, but he seems to think that Daryl's going to do right by him. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think Daryl is going to sit on his chips as long as he can.
Oh, you say sit on, it reminds me of that.
Yeah, sorry. Poor phrasing.
Thinking about it, I get uncomfortable.
That is really unfortunate. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think that they have to, there's just no way that this is going to be the trend that continues. And I think Kyrie is also going to learn that as well, that you cannot Kyrie, like you said, actually is a free agent, but money does not just appear in the NBA. It's not like the NFL where if you really cut some salaries or talk with some guys and lower their salaries, you can find some cap space. In the NBA, it kind of is what it is, and you're not going to be able to create cap space out of thin air. So, he's going to have to learn that lesson, and he's probably going to have to just honestly where this is going to lead. I could see him signing a contract in Dallas, and then just essentially holding them hostage until he gets traded.
I think we're about to learn some lessons, because the great Jerry Reynolds is going to join us with his thoughts on where this free agency is headed and what the Kings have done so far. That's next. Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Apparently, there is a cage match brewing between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, Now, I hope this happens for many reasons. Number one, it just goes with the downfall of our society. Number two, nothing more fun than seeing super ultra mega billionaires just beat the hell out of each other. Number three, it would obviously be a terrible, terrible, terrible fight.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you for Amy's Outdoor Living in Sacramento on El Camino near Watt and El Dorado Hills Town Center. They've got what you need for your 4th of July celebration. Now listen, Amy's going to pay all the sales tax on all of their huge selection of in-stock furniture, cushions, and umbrellas. Their best selection of umbrellas in tons of sizes and colors. Amy's Outdoor Living is your grilling headquarters with Traeger, Weber, Big Green Egg. You got to see those in-store savings. Free assembly and delivery on all grills for the 4th of July. And they've got a wonderful selection of rubs and sauces. Buy 4, get 10% off. And they've got 20% off home decor accessories. What more do you need? Amy's Outdoor Living on El Camino near Watt and inside Amy Ace Hardware right there in the El Dorado Town Center. Enjoy your 4th of July, and you tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Players of all abilities will tell you that Bartley Cavanaugh Golf Course is the area's #1 course for fun. Whether you're a beginner or an accomplished player, Bartley Cavanaugh has something for you. It's a great walking course, but motorized carts are available too. The moderately sized greens and generous fairway landing areas will add to your satisfaction and smiles for the day. Near the banks of the picturesque Sacramento River, Bartley Cavanaugh features the brand new tap room for all your beverage needs. For tea times, visit bartleycavanaugh.com. It's Sacramento's #1 course for fun.
What's going on? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. 4th of July sales event is finally here. Chad, tell me what's going on at Hoblet.
Well, for a very short time, we're offering the biggest savings so far in 2023 with up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Laramie, Longhorn, and limited crew cabs. That means you can get one of the most luxurious and popular trucks on the road starting at only $49,995. Plus, Hoblet is California's #1 Ram truck dealer, so you can take advantage of our huge selection with over 500 trucks available, including those hard-to-find heavy-duty trucks.
Okay, but what makes Hoblet better than the dealer down the street?
We have no surprise fees, add-ons, or dealer markups, just savings. One of the many reasons we received the Walter P. Chrysler Award for outstanding customer service for 3 years in a row now. Plus, with Hoblet's peace of mind guarantee, you can buy with confidence.
Stop by their Hoblet Ram Truck Center for a test drive today or search, select, and save through the whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period.
12,000 total net savings after 8,000 factory rebates and 4,000 dealer discount. 10 at this net savings. Sample VIN 549186. Must be California resident. Qualify. See dealer for details.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. Today at 3 p.m., NBA teams are allowed to officially start negotiating with free agents, but the Kings are already rumored to have made some moves before that. Yesterday, news broke that Harrison Barnes will be returning with the Kings on a 3-year, $54 million contract. Today, the Athletics' Shams Charania is reporting that the Kings are nearing a trade to get guard Chris Duarte for draft compensation. For more on today's NBA free agency, make sure to stay locked in on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com. But first, we're going to go back to Chris and company with our guest, Jerry Reynolds.
Absolutely. Always a treat. Nice enough to join us on this holiday Friday. Former Kings coach, GM, player personnel director, TV analyst, all-time Kings icon, right, Chris? We can agree on that.
All that and more.
Jerry Reynolds is an all-time Kings icon, and he joins us. Jerry, as always, great to talk with you. I got to ask, because we've been concerned, are you fully recovered yet from the news of your favorite potential free agent, Naz Reid, staying in Minnesota? That had to be difficult for you.
It was. I pouted a little while. I'm not going to lie to you. But, I think he'd have been an awfully good fit here. But, I think Minnesota felt the same way, and they got ahead of the curve, before free agency, because I think that was smart of them, because I think he might even got a better deal than he got there on the market. But anyway, so I pouted 24 hours. That's my maximum.
That's safe. That's a safe amount. That's like a good amount of time where, it's not too long, not too short. It feels like that's the right amount of time. Jerry, if you look on social media, you would think that everything is burning down in Kingsland. We had a poll that ran on our show today. Most people feel fine with Harrison Barnes coming back here to Sacramento at his $18 million average figure. How do you feel about Harrison Barnes staying here in Sacramento?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
That seems general consensus.
I've watched your poll and I actually voted on it. I'm fine with it, and I'm like the others and hoping for more to come. I think I'm with both categories there. But it's the old thing. Well, you'd like nothing against Harrison because he's a really good player. You'd like to have somebody better. I'd rather have Jimmy Butler. But at the end of it, what you don't want is to lose one of your better players for nothing. Right. And I think there was, probably the Kings. Really, Harrison held the cards because there's 2 or 3 teams that probably had significant interest in him. So, for those people that didn't want Harrison back, I'd say, well, that doesn't make you better.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. How about the trade, which apparently is not official yet as far as we know, but the Kings, according to reports, are very close to completing a deal that would send draft capital to the Pacers for Chris Duarte, who, if nothing else, appears to be a kind of a classic Monty McNair guy, spent a lot of time in college, very efficient player in college. What do you think, Jer, of that move if it goes through, Chris Duarte coming to the Kings?
Well, I sure liked him his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
He played a lot. And, of course, this past year really wasn't a factor, was hurt a lot. And then, of course, the Pacers had so many guards with Buddy and Nembhard and Mathurin. And, of course, so his time was really affected. But, if he can get back to the way he played as a rookie, I see no problems with it. I think he's a kind of a small forward, can play there some, as well as the big guard, and shot maker, really good moving without the ball. And so I know he had played well with Sabonis, and that, which isn't surprising, a lot of guys do. But anyway, it's a move that probably makes them a little bit deeper, if not a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Jerry, I'm curious. We were making a lot of Duarte's previous experience with Sabonis in Indiana. How much of that do you think is really helpful in terms of like him coming into this situation and not having everything brand new? Are we kind of overblowing that a little, or is there something there to just having that previous continuity with even just one of your new teammates?
Oh, I think that, it might be overblown in some cases, but I don't think in this one. I think he was a player who did have success, with, and that's not been forgotten by either. And of course, and he is really not an ISO type guy. He really is better coming off screens, catch and shoot, moving without the ball, which really does fit Sabonis for sure, and the Kings in general. So, yeah, that comfort zone, I think really does help a young player when he's moving to another team to know, hey, I know that guy and I like playing with him and he knows my game, that sort of thing.
Right. Jerry Reynolds, our guest here on Chris and Company. And Jerry, we don't know yet what all the Kings are going to do, but it looks like it might be something like this. I know it hasn't even free agency hasn't started yet, but Harrison Barnes, the extension, Chris Duarte comes in. Looks like they want to bring back Trey Lyles. If they also bring in Sasha Vezenkov, and then maybe they add a backup center. Then at that point, you're running out of funds. Maybe you bring in a backup center. I mean, do you think that would be enough? Are you better, as improved as you need to be if you got Barnes, Duarte, Vezenkov, Trey Lyles, and then a backup center? Does that do it for you?
Well, I do think it potentially makes you a little bit better. That's the good news. The bad news is that enough to beat Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Right. Yeah.
But then again, there's deals that are hard to make. And I mean, it's not that Monty and his staff isn't trying, but yeah, I think that you could start the season feeling like you're a little bit better, and a little bit deeper. I think that would be true. And then you're counting on, improvement with some of your young guys as well. So, I mean, there'd be reason to think the Kings, would be a better team. And having said that, as you know, with the way the West is, I think there's a lot of teams that's going to get better. So to be able to stay third would be, would be amazing. I'm not sure that can happen, really.
Yeah, and then in all fairness, I should also mention, and you alluded to it, you have Sloss, and then you'd have Colby Jones too. So you're adding those two rookies. So looks like that will be the extent of the upgrades. But of course, we'll see. How much of what we hear at this point, Jer, now you've lived this, how much of it is really, we got to be careful because it's coming from the agents?
Well, absolutely got to be careful because that's their job, is to create interest and some disinformation, as it were. I always said that all the rumors about all the teams after James Harden, that, they might be teams interested, but there wasn't a whole bunch of them wanting to pay him $200 million. I know that. His agent was trying to convince people. Right. So I think that's always part of it, so, it is one of those things, though, that that half the rumors you read about. So this team is interested in this guy and this, the agent's putting that out there primarily because that's what they've got to convince the team, get as much value for their guy as they can.
Right, exactly. And, the agents get a nice little percentage of that as well. So the higher that number is, the more that they're getting back as well in return.
They're not just doing it for the love of the job.
No, surprisingly, not enough guys are doing it just for the love of it. There seems to be some money motivator behind just about everything.
I'll tell you what, Chris, I'll tell you, I've been guys they were working for, but they still tried to get all the money they could.
Jerry, I'm curious, what are, we mentioned backup big is kind of the clear and obvious one, but are there any positions or anything in particular, any areas of need you feel like the Kings really still need to address out there on the, while they still have free agent money?
Yeah, I'm not convinced that they've solved their power forward backup center thing as well as they need to.
Even with Trey Lyles coming back?
Well, I think Trey's a good player.
Yeah.
And I would love to be wrong that he could be a 35-minute guy and be extremely productive. But I mean, just in my mind, if you're going to, if your goal is to beat at Denver, I just don't think they're good enough there. And so, so that's that. But, I'm one of those people that would love to see Brook Lopez or somebody here. I realize he's near the end of his career, but, a guy like that makes the Kings better, I think. And he's a perfect fit with Sabonis because he could guard the paint and stretch the floor and probably has 2 quality years ahead, as long as he doesn't get hurt, because he had his best year last year. Now, yeah, Milwaukee, I'm sure feels exactly the same way. So there's that. But anyway, yeah, I just kind of feel like they need a big piece. They still need.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jer, we appreciate it. Hopefully we can hang out soon and knock out another episode of the Old Fashioned 3 podcast. But I hope you have a great holiday, and we will talk to you again soon. What's the Jerry Reynolds tip for staying cool these days?
Stay inside.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And his fandom, is he becoming like Jack Nicholson? Is he just like becoming a diva? We can't get him to work anymore.
Yeah, and kind of like Howard Hughes. Just where is he? A lot of rumors about what he's up to. The same type of thing. I don't know, Jer.
I was gonna say we got to talk to his people.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. We'll get on that. So thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
All right.
See you, Jerry.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
Coming up next, everybody's so cuckoo for Kuzma around here, especially, right? Yeah. Well, it turns out maybe there's not a lot of people cuckoo for Kuzma. Details are coming up next on Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Hey, it's Nick Cattle suggesting you celebrate your 4th of July the right way with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Our Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned us into pros. Napoleon grills have features other grills can't match. Built different, built better, and built to last. All made with premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Just go to Napoleon.com for your nearby Napoleon Grills dealer. Napoleon Grills, now is the time for the best selection of grills and fine accessories. Now is the time to take care of your 4th of July.
Prestige line comes with a lifetime warranty.
Sitting at your desk and watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Kuzma. We've been hearing a lot about Kyle Kuzma and the Sacramento Kings. And we discussed this, I think it was yesterday, Chris, how, there's talk about how the Kings once wanted Kuzma. And there's a lot of people saying the Kings might want Kuzma because they wanted him once, but there really is no indication that the Kings right now want Kyle Kuzma.
Hell no.
Right. Nothing against Kyle Kuzma. I guess it's still possible, but based on the moves the Kings have already made, I don't know that they have room to do that even if they wanted to. Yeah. Well, Christopher Lott has an update for us on Kyle Kuzma that suggests if the Kings are not interested in Kyle Kuzma, they're apparently not the only ones.
Yes, according to Mark Stein, it's looking more and more likely that Kyle Kuzma will be returning to the Washington Wizards.
Wow.
How about that?
Oh, boy, how about that?
I'm not surprised. And maybe, it's a good fit and they like him and he's young and maybe he likes it there. So it could be just a matter of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect fit in the sense of Kyle Kuzma wants touches and Washington has nothing but touches available. Like, it's going to be him and Jordan Poole really just chucking it up for 48 minutes, it seems like, if he returns to Washington.
It could be like when Isaiah Ryder and Christian Laettner were teammates on the Timberwolves and they played keep away from each other. That was their offense.
Yeah,
Don't throw it to him.
I could definitely see that because, both guys, Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, are both like, don't give him the ball. Yeah. He's not going to pass it back to you. I definitely will. I will, but him.
I'm going to shoot it first, but next time,
I got you.
Yeah.
Maybe the second or third time, I got you. In that sense, it's a perfect fit for him because it's somewhere where he can go get his, if he wants to prove that he is that star quality guy, I don't think anybody else is going to give him that level of opportunity. And Washington is wide open for shot attempts. And again, like, it's just going to be him and Jordan Poole on the offensive end there. They let go of Beal, let go of Porzingis. It's not a bad move for Washington. You know, like, Kuzma is a young 27-year-old forward who does potentially have a little bit more to give. It's just he's got to be given that level of freedom and opportunity. It'll be interesting. I mean, he's going to get his wish if he stays there. He'll get as many shot attempts as he wants.
And they can pay more money, right?
Absolutely.
He's their guy. So
right.
it could be that simple. Like, maybe he never really was that interested in testing the market. It may not be,
I think
a matter of.
I think he was, and he just did not get the offers. I think his phone was very dry.
This is still testing. Hey, I could go back, guys.
It
might be going back.
Maybe this is it. Yeah,
you might lose out.
Could be a negotiation tactic. Definitely.
Don't make me go back to Washington.
He's
you
like,
guys,
don't,
because I mean it. I mean it.
Seriously, I'm gonna, guys. No, seriously, guys, please. I'm gonna go back to Washington. Somebody, please offer me something. I could see it. I could see it. I mean, I think the Houston thing makes sense. I mean, the Fred Van, we did hear that they're going to offer
the Houston
big money
doesn't
at
make
Fred
any
Van
sense to me.
It makes no
one
sense.
piece of it makes some sense, but all together, it's like, I don't understand any of it.
I mean, that's kind of the story of Houston's offseason. Presumably, the way that it's trending, it's just going to be a bunch of moves for the sake of making moves. Like, I don't know really what Fred VanVleet does for Houston either, but they seem keen on paying him a ton of money to come over there. So, you know, it's just going to kind of be the way that I think this free agency goes. I think it's just going to be people throwing money at the guys who are available. And as we've stated, the guys available are pretty mid.
On the YouTube chat, I am the Sun, which I applaud.
Hey, that's incredible.
Yeah, I am the Sun says Keegan and Sasha would pay for Kuzma. Might as well lock up those two instead. Yeah, I think the problem with Kuzma here, and the problem with this whole reaction some people have to Harrison Barnes, is what Kyle Kuzma represented to so many Kings fans over the last couple weeks, which is, man, Kyle Kuzma, he averaged 21 a game. He's like a star player who's fairly young and could get better. Now, in reality, I don't think he's that guy.
I agree.
But I think that's why so many people were enamored of Kyle Kuzma. They saw him as Harrison Barnes. He's okay, but Kyle Kuzma, man, that's an upgrade.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why a lot of fans are like, what? Harrison Barnes again?
Yeah.
But in fact, I think we're seeing the reality is Kyle Kuzma wasn't really that guy that a lot of people thought he was.
Yeah, I have felt that as well. It's felt like people just convinced themselves. Exactly. Yeah. It's like he could be even like he is what he is now, but I think there's even, and I do agree that I do think there's another level that Kyle Kuzma could go to.
Yeah.
I just don't think he could have gotten to it on this Kings team. Again, like I just think the role that the Kings would have needed or wanted him to play would have been something of reduced shot attempts and really just maximizing his touches. And frankly, and when I say maximizing his touches, I mean making the most of the limited touches he gets. And instead, I think in Washington, or what he really wants is to maximize the amount of touches he's going to get. And I just don't think he's going to get that, especially not here in Sacramento. But I don't think really for any winning situation, he would get a ton of run.
I think Kyle Kuzma stands to benefit also from what happens when you have a team that's tearing things down and they're trying to maintain some level of interest, and they got to show fans like, yeah, we're, Bradley Beal's gone and Porzingis is gone, but we're keeping Kyle Kuzma. We're going to build around him.
Coveted free agent Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah.
He was wanted by others.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think there's something to that. But I was watching highlights last night of like Porzingis. So they were talking about Porzingis on ESPN. And I'm watching the Wizards like, man, they had Bradley Beal and they had Kuzma. They had Porzingis. That's pretty good players.
Something there, right? Yeah. There's something there. And yeah, I mean, the fact that they couldn't figure it together, that was the concerning thing with me and Kuzma, was just like, I mean, yeah, he had the talent around him to be more successful. It was just they, for whatever reason, just collectively, all three of those guys that you mentioned collectively were just like, we're just going to put up our numbers and it's not going to lead to any sort of results. But I was just out on Kuzma because I just don't think he can fill a role. I think he wants to be a star, and God bless him. I mean, everyone is entitled to have the career that they want to have. And if Kyle Kuzma would much rather try and prove that he's a star quality player on a team that's not proven, all power to you. Most people would probably take take the winning route and try and, win and do what you can do to contribute to that winning team. But, that's not everybody. I mean, that was my bigger point with Kuzma the entire time was I just don't think he's that guy. I do not think that once you taste 20 shot attempts in a game, going to 10 feels like you might as well just not be playing. It feels like, you're never getting shots off. And Kyle Kuzma, especially entering his theoretical prime right now, I don't think he was ever going to sign up for a way reduced role.
I think Monty, one thing we know about Monty McNair, he has his foundation in analytics, and so he loves efficient players. We see it with Duarte. We see it with the Barnes extension. And Kyle Kuzma just historically has not been a very efficient player.
Yeah.
And I think when the Kings had interest in Kuzma earlier, for one thing, they needed to find somebody who would take Hield, so they were limited. They couldn't it's like, well, who's going to take him? Who do they have? And then I think Kuzma's actually become less efficient since then. So I don't think it was ever a match, but who knows? Maybe we'll learn more. I thought it was very educational what Jerry Reynolds told us a few moments ago here on the show about the Kings and the roster as we think will be constituted here going forward. And he says, man, they still have a need at that backup 4-5 power forward slot.
Yeah, that's the biggest need that I see. I just think that they need somebody else who can rebound besides Sabonis. Sabonis led the league in rebounds per game last year. The Kings as a team were in the bottom 5 or bottom 10 for sure.
They were 7th in defensive rebounding, which is, and they were 22nd, I think, in offensive rebounding, and of course got killed in the playoffs.
Right, and so to me, that's just something they have to address. They got to get a big body in there, somebody who can really throw around their weight, and somebody, honestly, like Jerry mentioned, like you're going to need somebody to help you get closer to taking down Nikola Jokic in Denver. You need a big body. You need somebody that you can throw at Anthony Davis. You just need more size. How many times last year did we say, the Kings just really struggled with length and teams that could overwhelm them with size? That was because they didn't have any other options to go to. If they have a different actual big man that they can throw out there against bigger lineups like Minnesota, who has Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert.
At least for now.
At least for
and
now.
Nas Reed
and
now,
Nas Reed also, right. They can run all three of them. You have to, and then Denver has Nikola Jokic, who's a massive human. There's teams, and then, AD as well. There's tons of teams out there who have tons of size that you're going to have to match up with. And the Kings, just at the moment, especially with having Domantas Sabonis at your center, you're going to be undersized at the higher positions, and they have to have, in my opinion, someone that they can throw out there for 15, 20, maybe 25 minutes on a given night, but they have to have somebody that can help Domantas Sabonis get some rest.
I'm not saying that he fills that role, but I do think, trying to put the puzzle pieces together here, I think the Kings think that Vezenkov can help them in the rebounding department. I'm not saying they expect him to solve everything. No. But they have mentioned they like the way he goes after the ball, and he's been a good rebounder in the EuroLeague.
Yeah, I wonder how it'll depend on how many minutes Sasha gets kind of from day one. But
if he comes,
assuming he comes also, right. But I think he's going to be a good rebounder. I don't know if he's going to be walking into the league. I think he averaged 7 rebounds per game in Europe. Like, I would be surprised if he's at 7 in the NBA. I would
7 in Europe, and it's also that funny 7 with the line through it.
That's how I make my 7.
I know. We talked. Yeah. It's like, what is that? That's not even a number.
I think Sasha could help on the rebounding end, but even then, like they need rim protection. Sasha is not helping with rim protection.
No.
Not helping with just general size in terms of blocking out. Like, who's going to help solve the Kevon Looney issue? Like, that's Domas gave his best effort. I promise you, Domantas Sabonis was not just allowing Kevon Looney to get all of those rebounds. He was boxing him out. They need either somebody else who can give a bigger body to box him out, or somebody who can actually finish the rebounding element of it. They just need help with some of the things that bigger guys do. And I think it's not, they don't need a Brook Lopez. He kind of, in a lot of ways, checks almost every box, but they just need someone who can come in and be solid and maybe do 1 or 2 things that they just lack at the moment. They don't need a star as their backup big.
So coming up, we'll engage in a little wishful thinking. Brook Lopez to the Kings. Is there any way that could happen. Next, Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Need your Niners fix? Sactown Sports has you covered.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think Trey looks significantly better than he did last year. I really do. I think his confidence is there. I think that he's throwing really good passes. I mean, just watching him, he just looks so much more comfortable and confident in the pocket, and I really appreciate that from him, from all the work that he's put into it. He just looks like he's having fun, because when he's out there having a good time, it definitely brings up everyone around him.
Get all your 49ers coverage leading into the 2023 season at Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the ultra smooth, ultra powerful iPhone 11 for $49.99.
He didn't stutter.
See every angle with dual cameras,
Make it a double.
all on America's largest 5G networks.
Large and in charge, baby.
Get with the power of Boost and get the iPhone 11 for $49.99.
That's half a Benjamin.
Boost Mobile.
Unleash your power.
ID verification required. New customers only at one per line. Additional restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com for details.
The California Classic Summer League returns this July with 2 days of NBA triple-header action and world-class entertainment. The Sacramento Kings will host the Warriors, Lakers, Heat, and newly added Spurs and Hornets. Single-day tickets start at just $22. Ticket holders for Wednesday, July 5th will be able to see a live concert by country artist Nico Moon. Visit kings.com/California Classic for more information and to buy your tickets today.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. Or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Hello, Sacramento. Doug Christie here, and I have something to share. Recently, I asked myself to determine the one most indispensable thing I use to do my job, the one I couldn't do without. The winner, forget the phone, which I live on, and the video editor, which makes my life understandable. The winner was the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. Yes, the one I tell you about each week keeps me going comfortably supported, pain relieved, and vital. So it strikes me that if Good Feet is the most important go-to tool to relieve pain or just keep me going, shouldn't you give it a try? I think so. Come to the Good Feet store today for a free, no obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk. Experience the comfort, balance, and support of the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical bull, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2, brought to you by Hoblet Dodge, E2 Family Winery, and Hyatt Vacation Club.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlotta with your Sactown Sports headlines. Today at 3 p.m., NBA teams are allowed to officially start to negotiate with free agents, but the Kings have already made a few moves before that. Yesterday, news broke that Harrison Barnes will be returning with the Kings on a 3-year, $54 million contract. Today, the Athletics' Shams Charania is reporting that the Kings are nearing a trade to get guard Chris Duarte for draft compensation. For more on today's NBA free agency news, make sure to stay locked in on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
One of the things that I noticed about Chris Duarte, you go to his basketball reference page, he doesn't have a nickname on there, which is unusual, isn't it, Chris Watkins? Because they have nicknames for everybody. It looks like they've made up half.
Usually a couple of them.
Yeah, usually a couple of them, and 2/3 of them don't make any sense.
Make a lick of sense.
You know, some of them are like, "There's no way." That's probably been said once in one article.
Yeah,
by some random guy, and they're like, "Good enough for me. It fits."
Like
and
cowboy chair. That's not a cow. That's not a nickname.
Whoa, I'm looking at it right now. It looks like they do have a nickname on Basketball Reference.
Oh, gosh, what is it, Chris?
Looks like Maple Fuerte. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't have that on my page. Where I was going with this was there's a reason why that can't be his nickname, Chris. Chris Verlotte came up with that.
Right.
Maple Fuerte, to me anyway, is too reminiscent of Sauce Castillo.
It is a little Sauce
Castillo.
Castillo.
Same kind of vibe, and it's like, we can't go there.
Don't want that. No, we don't want to sign anybody up for anything that reminds anybody of Sauce Castillo. Absolutely not.
That was the best thing about Nick Stauskas was
Yes.
can even
yeah.
Hey, 2 years ago he made it to the NBA Finals.
He did make it to the NBA Finals.
How much were those tickets?
They were a lot, but it wasn't because of him.
Yeah. No, he was I mean he ended up I don't think he played in the NBA last year, but I think he had like a really good G League stint for like a week or two and then got signed by the Celtics, and
they told the story. I think Mike Breen told the story. I was like, he's going to quit basketball, and his wife said, "Don't give up on your dream.
We need
went
money."
Back to the G League, and he ended up getting an NBA deal. So I guess that's kind of a happy ending to the Sauce Castillo.
I don't think anybody has any fancy memories of the Nick Stauskas era here. He also
and it's Stauskas.
On his way out. You mentioned earlier he was a part of that pick swap trade that Vlade, the infamous pick swap trade.
Yeah.
When that happened, or actually when that pick swap got conveyed, Nick Stauskas, being the heel that he is, tweeted out at the time the Migos Bad and Bougie was one of the more popular songs, and that goes raindrop drop top some and Nick tweeted out, "Raindrop drop top, we just converted the pick swap," or something like that. Very corny, very cringe, and since has pretty much fallen into the Spencer Hawes category for Kings fans of you're dead to us. You are dead to us.
Okay.
So Nick Stauskas, Spencer Hawes, Jason Terry, I think are the all-time you're getting booed anytime you step foot inside.
Spencer Hawes is way up there.
He's way up there. But Jason Terry earned himself a nice little boo.
Well, that's why I don't think
well.
that Maple Fuerte can be Chris Duarte's.
I do. Now that I'm hearing it, the Fuerte and the Duarte, that's clever. But
see, it's catching on.
Starting to catch on. I don't know.
Is there any way the Kings could bring in Brook Lopez? There's no reason to think it's even on the table. We just talked to Jerry, who said, that would be he would address their needs. Not that Jerry thinks there's any way it's going to happen either, but his name comes up on the the text line. I assume the YouTube chat. Is there any way it could even happen? Because as far as we know, the Kings don't have a ton of cap space available right now. So let's see. Based on what we think we know, Yossi Gozlan on Twitter, I know I mentioned this earlier, says after the Duarte deal, which again is not official, they have $15 million in cap space. So they're actually working with about 12.5 because you got to factor in Trey Lyles. They have a 7.7 million room, a mid-level exception. So how in the world with like 12.5 million plus a mid-level exception worth less than 8, could you even have a shot at Brook Lopez?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Yeah, I mean, the mid-level is kind of the best hope at getting him, and then just hoping, that nobody else throws more than the mid-level at him, but then you're probably going to have a conversation with him leading into it, letting him know that your role is not going to be.
He would have to
probably
really
what it would be
want
elsewhere.
to come here, right?
Yeah. He would have to really be sold on, we're only a 30-minute flight away from LA and Disneyland, Brooke. So we got that, if the Lakers or Clippers don't want you, we're the closest thing to it. So
it's like years ago, Andre Dawson wanted to sign with the Cubs. And this was when collusion was going on, although they hadn't admitted that yet. And finally he just said, here, just here's the check, fill out any amount you want and I will play for you.
Wow.
And they fill out like $500,000. But that's how badly he wanted to play for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and then later they were found to be guilty of collusion.
Well,
and they had to pay a lot of money to a lot of people.
That's
including
fine. You saved yourself
Andre
some
Dawson.
money up front.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And that it would take something near that in order to get Brooke over here, because it would have to be Brooke making a conscious decision to go to Sacramento. There's no other way of putting it. Like if he's going to come over here to Sacramento, it's going to be because he really truly believes in the fit and for whatever reason thinks that this is the best place for him. I think there's a path to Brook Lopez making a lot of sense. He fills in a lot of holes that Domas leaves open. Like Brook Lopez is a really good rim protector. Offensively, he can stand out on the corner and not bog things up in the middle for Domas to do his work. And the problem is defensively. They can't play together defensively. Yes, Brook Lopez protects the rim, but that puts Domas out on the perimeter. And I love Sabonis.
A cardboard box out there.
You said it. Like you're not going to get positive defensive minutes when Sabonis is at your 4 and guarding
a big
guys on the
box, like a refrigerator box, not just a little box.
Yes, right. You're not trying to be disrespectful. Right. I mean, come on. Yeah, it's a big box, but you might as well because you're just not going to get any sort of positive defensive minutes out there if you're going to run Sabonis and Lopez out there at the same time. Frankly, it's just not the early 2000s anymore.
So if we go by the theory that, I think we all know it's not really a theory, the Kings could use a backup center. I'm going to run down the list of free agent centers. Stop me when you hear one that you think makes sense or that you want to know more about. Well, Brook Lopez is number 1. We'll skip him because we just went over that.
Yep.
I guess this is the way they're rated here by Spotrac. Jakob Poeltl.
Interesting.
Okay.
I don't know what his number would be. I don't think he's a backup. He's way overqualified.
$8.7 million last year.
Yeah. I think he's staying in Toronto.
Christian Wood.
I personally don't have much interest in him, but I know a lot of people.
$13.6 million last year.
That's a little hefty for, again, Christian Wood.
Doesn't mean he's going to get it, but
overstays his welcome and he doesn't stay long.
I know you love this guy almost as much as you love Jackson Hayes. Mason Plumlee.
Mason, your face. How about that? I really like Mason Plumlee, especially if he's going to come at under $10 million. I think that's about as good of a backup center as you can find out there.
Yeah, he may still see himself as a starter.
He might.
$8.2 million last year. Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell made $11 million last year.
That's Dallas for you. Dwight Powell is okay. He'd be a fine backup center, but I don't know if he would solve your problems.
Pardon me. These are all unrestricted to this point, by the way. Yeah. Thomas Bryant. 2.1 mil.
He almost dropped 30. I think he did drop 30 and 10 on the Kings, so we have to sign him.
Drew Eubanks, 1.9 mil last year.
Yeah, he's a stretch. He's I mean, I don't really love the fit there, but he's a piece.
So do we have anything so far?
No.
Not really. Jock Landale from St. Mary's, all the way of Australia.
Yeah.
He's
fine.
Restricted free agent. Bismack Biyombo.
See, we're now getting into the point where these are your backups.
Kevin Love.
This is a problem.
Blake Griffin.
These are problems.
Mo Wagner.
Oh, I actually don't dislike Mo Wagner, but not as the backups. All these guys at this point, if these are your first backups for Sabonis, like if these are the guys who ideally are playing 82 games and going to play 15 to 25 minutes in those games.
1.8 mil.
Maybe maybe at that low end, but that's a third center kind of guy, and I don't like that as your main option off the bench.
Paul Reed, restricted.
I like Paul Reed.
Jackson Hayes.
You
love him.
I don't like his off the floor thing.
I heard someone say it. It was me who said it, but still.
People are saying it. People are saying that I like him. I'm out on Jackson Hayes.
Old Mary Yurt 7.
Hey, that is a Summer League legend. That guy will kill your Summer League squad.
Cody Zeller, Orlando Robinson, Luke Garza.
Okay.
And round out the top 20. We'll stop there. Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah.
Anything? See anything you like, sir? Let's crunch some numbers. What's it going to take for you to get off the lot with a new backup center?
I think Mason Plumlee is the lowest on that list that I would go for. Everybody below him, to me, I just don't. How
much you want to offer? You think?
8 to 9 million, I guess. I mean, and I don't know what these guys are, what the going rate would be, but especially if you're talking backup big, again, somebody who's probably not going to be hugely important to your team. Ideally, you'd like to pay him 5 or 6, but if you're going to get a guy, I say to the quality of Mason Plumlee, you're probably going to want to pay him like 7 and 9.
I think if he was on board with that, I think that would work.
Right?
I mean, as far as being good for your team and improving your team.
Yeah, he's a good ball mover. Was one of the better center passers in the NBA last year. Is a big body, somebody who's pretty actually shockingly athletic. Mason Plumlee, really good on his feet. Strong build that you can kind of bang him around with some guys. To me, you're getting 48 quality center minutes if you have Duarte and Sabonis and Mason Plumlee as your centers, and that's just not something the Kings had last year at all. They were really desperately trying to patchwork that backup big spot.
I do it as long as they will black out on TV every time he shoots a free throw and just
oh my god,
the screen goes black, and then they say, okay, he made it. Wait, he's gonna shoot one more. Okay, and then they'll show him again.
You shouldn't have reminded me of his free throw shot. For people who haven't seen Mason Plumlee shoot a free throw, do yourself a favor and watch it.
He literally switched hands.
It is crazy. Yes, he was so bad at shooting free throws the first half of his career. He now shoots it. I think now he shoots it left-handed, correct? But it is still like a one-handed shot, pretty much, that he just shot puts. He knocks it down, though. I mean, he's starting to knock it down better. Shot 77% from the free throw line.
That is
with the Clippers.
More than acceptable.
That's just the second half of the season last year. Shot 60% from the line.
There's your guy.
First half.
There you go, Monty.
I really like
You're
Mason
welcome.
Plumlee.
We figured it out for you.
33 years old as well. Veteran.
Coming up, Rami joins us for the story time that Christopher Laud has been waiting how long to share with us now?
Over a week.
More than a week. It's next on Chris and Company, Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track, makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Did you know that money market accounts offer higher dividends? Hey, Jason Ross here, and I want to tell you to step up your earning power with a Level Up money market savings account at Safe Credit Union. With competitive dividend rates, you can take your savings to the next level. Visit safecu.org/levelup for more information and to open up an account today. Insured by NCUA.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kip Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kip Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please, gamble responsibly, 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's the 4th of July Sell-a-thon at Folsom Lake Ford. All your favorite models on sale. F-150s, Explorers, Broncos in stock now. Don't miss 4th of July savings. Shop FolsomLakeFord.com, your truck headquarters.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris's company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Thanks for being with us today. I also want to thank Jerry Reynolds for joining us. All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Monty McNair, you're welcome. Chris Watkins and I, he did most of the heavy lifting. Figured out what to do at the backup center position. We've decided on
Mason Plumlee.
Mason Plumlee.
I'm all for it. Very corny, very cringe.
So
I don't remember saying that.
Our work here today is almost done.
Almost.
But not quite. Let's bring in Raminator.
How are we?
Good,
I love
good.
this day on the sports calendar. It's a great day on the sports calendar, isn't
Oh my
it?
God. You guys are getting
NBA
all the
free
fun
agency.
stuff, too.
Oh, it's going to be.
Do you even have anything planned after 3, or is it just all reaction? It's just react.
No, you plan it and then know it's not going to go according to plan.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just in case, like, let's say it's nothing happens on
Right.
day
Yeah.
one of NBA free agency. We have a plan for that, but
Cool.
we'll just be following all the action along with everybody else and reacting to it for the most part. So.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten anything. Like it's been almost too
Been
quiet
pretty
on the Western
Yeah, it's
front
been
right
pretty
now.
quiet so far,
Almost
unless
too
something
quiet.
happened while I was driving over.
No, I haven't
Okay.
seen nothing. Haven't
All
seen
right.
anything yet.
In the 7 minutes.
Not a great free agent class.
The more I think about it, the more I agree with you, Whitey. Because I'm watching everybody get all up in arms about Harrison Barnes, and I'm like, well, I mean, who out there did you love a whole lot more than Harrison Barnes? Like, there might have been a few people that you liked more than Harrison Barnes, but like head and shoulders, I don't
agree.
I don't see him
I
out
don't see
there.
it.
You know what I
agree.
mean?
Yeah. How about Christopher Law? Do you like him head and shoulders above Harrison Barnes? Or
One of my favorite people.
Yeah?
One of my favorite
Which one,
people.
Harrison Barnes or Christopher Law?
Both.
Okay.
Both. They're both up there on my list
Quality.
of favorite
It's
people.
time for
quality folks right there.
an edition of Story Time. Christopher Law says has been more than a week in the making.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement.
It's that time of the day where Christopher Laud gives you the stories that you need to hear. Or maybe not. It's story time.
So once I saw this, I was very excited. This has everything that story time is supposed to be about.
And what is Story Time supposed to be about?
Somebody's definitely dying.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Oh, you think so?
I mean, if you said it's everything
This is what
story
it's
time
about.
is about, usually people are dying in story time. So I'm assuming. I don't know. Let's hear it.
Liège, Belgium.
Okay, you had
Nice
a week to
waffles.
get ready for
Yeah.
that.
Lovely
Yeah,
this
okay.
time of year.
Sky News.
Uh-huh.
News of the death of 45-year-old Belgium TikToker David Barton
Okay.
spread a few weeks ago. One of his children went on social media and wrote a tribute to her father, saying, "Rest in peace, Daddy. I will never stop thinking about you. Why is life so unfair? Why you? You are going to be a grandfather and you still had your whole life ahead of you. I love you. We love you. We will never forget you."
We're off to
Very
a super
sad.
sad start.
Yeah.
We're off
Very
to a
sad.
Really sad
Great.
start.
Happy
Yeah.
Friday.
Family and friends met for his funeral last week, so this was 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
Okay.
That was attended by friends and family members. While everybody was waiting for the ceremony to start, a helicopter landed nearby, where David Barton walked out of the helicopter unharmed,
Call it a comeback.
along with the camera crew, and was greeted by mourners.
It's like the Ashton Kutcher or something like that.
What?
He's-
Got you.
Got you! Oh, you should see your faces right now. Oh, you thought I was dead? Who's in the box? Yeah, who's right? Who's in the box? Who's in the casket?
Wow.
Barton spoke with the Times about this stunt, where he said he faked his death to see how his family would react, and said he felt underappreciated by
Oh
them.
my gosh.
This guy's the worst.
This guy's crazy.
He's the worst person.
You know what's a good way of getting your family to really start caring about you? Faking your death. That'll
Right.
really do it. That'll really snap them into gear.
Could be a good person. You
Yeah,
know what
that
I mean?
works too.
Like make yourself somebody who people want to be around
Yeah,
and
exactly.
appreciate. You know what
That's
I mean?
too hard.
No, just
It's easier
fake
just to
your
fake
death.
your
own-
Yeah,
It's
easier
a
to
lot
just fake your own death.
Do we have details on how he faked his
I've
death?
looked everywhere to see. I think it was just one of those things where, like, hey, he died, and then his kid put out the social media thing saying that he died.
Huh.
And then I guess, invitations to the funeral. Anyways, he said that his family often hurts him when he doesn't get invited to anything. Shocker. He said that he wanted to give them a life lesson and show them that you shouldn't wait until someone is dead to meet up with them.
This guy's the worst. No wonder he doesn't get invited to any of it.
Hold on. He's got some more things to say.
Never inviting him now.
Bartend said after the prank that some loved ones have reached out and attend to, even though they couldn't attend his funeral. He said this proves who really cares about me. Those who didn't come did contact me to meet up. So in a way, I did win.
I am inviting him to a big party, but he gets there and he's going to be the only one there. Got you. It's a fake party.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like this guy is just setting himself up for a lifelong of bad karma, and B, just no invites ever to anything ever again.
Yeah, people aren't gonna. This isn't endearing.
Yeah,
like you're not gonna start getting invited to stuff now.
Exactly.
After pulling this stunt.
And what's his daughter supposed to do? Oh, Dad, you got me.
Yeah. No. She was in on it.
She was okay.
That is, I believe it was like
I'm actually glad to hear that.
Yes.
That's good.
Don't tell your kids that she died.
Yeah. You also said he came out of the helicopter with a camera crew.
Yeah, he had a camera crew with it. So there's
so you said he's a TikToker, right?
On this to be a horrible person.
Yeah, that is the worst thing to do with money.
Right, is fake your death for a TikTok video. It better have been a fire video. That's all I got. Like, has the video been released at least?
It has not been released. I've looked everywhere for this video. I guess I'm also thinking of like how much did he go to fake his own death? Because then you're talking about like you're going to jail for something like that. That's something you can't do.
I mean, like if the police had to investigate.
Yeah,
like,
if there's a death certificate signed and all that. Yeah, that's falsifying records. I would imagine, is it not? I'm no lawyer or police officer or anything like that, but no, it's illegal to fake your death.
Well, Your Honor, I wasn't dead, but I really wasn't feeling well that day.
Your Honor, they don't invite me anywhere, and I needed to prove a point.
The fact that he, I assume, bought a casket, bought a plot of land to be buried into, and then bought a helicopter and a camera crew.
I'm sure he just rented all of those things.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
can you rent a casket?
Never in a serious way, but I have wondered, like, can you rent a casket? That's a great question. Like, if I did fake my death, I do wonder who would show up and like.
That is something you always say. Who shows up?
Yeah, I imagine like sitting up in the upper balcony and just watching and judging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would be in the
who
casket.
showed up, how they're acting.
I would be in the casket, but then I'd open it just a little bit to peek at. How many people? How many people are here? Okay. What's the guy's name again?
David Bartend.
Okay, see, that reminds me of Davis Bertans. So as you're talking about it, in my mind, that's who I see doing all this.
Davis Bertans.
I think we have a pretty good idea of how many people are going to go to his actual funeral.
None.
No one. Like his daughter, who was in on this stupid joke. She's the only one.
That's actually a great point. Yeah, no one's actually going to show up to the next funeral because I would just be like, fool me once. I've seen this before.
It's like showing up for your buddy's third wedding. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, this ain't real. What
you
am
only get one.
Dude, you've had like 2 toasters from me. You're not getting another one.
I wonder if he has a history of being such a jerk face, or if this came out of nowhere.
I mean, he is a 44-year-old TikToker, so he's probably not the coolest cat. Probably not the most successful guy out there. I had to guess.
He seems like the worst. I'm not surprised.
Seems like the worst.
Seems like the worst person.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out for this.
But now I'm also wondering, can you rent a casket?
I mean, he did a lot of work leading into this because I mean, there's a lot of things you have to, in order to get like a funeral prepared. There's a lot of lead into that.
Right. You got to get a funeral coordinator.
Right. How many people
Jennifer
were
Lopez
in on
in
this?
The movie? I think. Right. All right. Thank you, Chris. Rami, what do we have?
It's NBA free agency day, man. It's just going to be a madhouse. Frankie Cardicelli, the birthday boy.
The birthday boy.
Which I definitely knew before Watkins told me that during the commercial break. He's going to be here at 2:30 to talk some Kings, the Harrison Barnes signing, what else they might do. And just madness. And Nick Cattle's final show on the Cattles and Rami show.
Goodness.
Yes.
All right. Well,
I'll try
don't miss
not
that.
to, shed
Hold it
tears.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to have like a snack exchange or anything?
Oh, there's a snack exchange.
Okay, good.
There's a very special snack exchange at 4:45. Yeah.
Hey,
right.
JJ this morning got a dozen crumble cookies, so he better share
Just
for him. It was a box that said to Jay Johnson from Crumble Cookies.
Did he trade the whole thing for Tobias Harris or?
Hey,
See
now,
what I did
I
there?
see what you did
All
there.
right.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
That's
I
a good one.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Roms. Have a good show.
Gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Stick around. Cattles and Rami next. Sactown Sports.
The Kings season might be over, but Sactown sports coverage never stops.
Returning is honestly my number one priority. I'm going to be a part of something special.
Stay tuned all off season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce